God, Napoleon with a cowboy hat, and his horse that he was on had 5 legs, and the men with that he was leading, they're all wearing like orange uniforms, and I think that they had like either no feet or no hands. They were just holding muskets and just suspended in the air or something. It was the goofiest thing, but I'm just like, okay, well,
Nice.
and you would have thought that the image of Napoleon would have been better since his face is like plastered
There
everywhere.
you go.
But it was just
Yeah.
like this, like, it looked like, Charlie Brown, this sort of circle with a nose and a mouth kind of a thing. I'm like, can't you do better, AI? Don't you know who Napoleon Bonaparte is? So
That is funny. Out of curiosity, what editing software do you use?
I use Power Director 365. So I've been using Power Director for, I don't know, quite a while now. And I used to have just, I bought whatever the software was. So I think the first version I bought was like Power Director 2016. Um, and then they came out with, then they had 2017 and 2018 and 2019 kind of thing. And then they had this one where, okay, you just subscribe to it for the year, and then you get all the updates and everything else. And it's like a $30 subscription. While in the past, if you wanted to buy the software, it was, a couple $100. So I'm like, okay, I get all the free upgrades and all the rest that they come out with, and it's a good deal. So it's pretty good software for what I do. I use it obviously for the channel, but then I do some stuff for the local chamber of commerce and the local historical society, where I do interviews and things like that. So I post stuff for that as well as stuff that I might do for Griffin. And then when I have to put together the award ceremony video for the high school, I use that software as well. So it works pretty well for editing. It takes a little while to get the hang of it, um, but it does a really nice job.
Sure. I've been using Camtasia for years, and I'm always curious to know because I've always used it in a professional standpoint, and so I'm always curious to know with some of the newer things out there that people who tend to post in social media end up using because it seems like there's an entire genre of like plug and play type stuff out there versus, you know, something that maybe Camtasia offers.
Yeah, I think when I first started doing videos, back a decade or more ago, I was filming it all on my iPad, and I just used iMovie or whatever it was that was like the generic, um,
Hmm.
who is that? Apple. I want to say Macintosh, but that's how old Apple is in my mind. Um, use their system, and uh, and so I used that for a while. But you can't really do, it's kind of limited. It's kind of hard to kind of do stuff on on the iPad. So I had watched Stuka Joe, who I've been following religiously for, well, I think since he had maybe 600, subscribers. So I don't know how many, a decade and a half ago. He had did a video on, oh, this is the software I use, and this is kind of the setup I have in my studio. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try that software because it works well for what he's doing. So it's worked well for me too. So that's how I got turned on to it. Um,
Very cool.
yeah. Yeah, but I'm not. I don't do anything professionally. I'm sure if it's got lots of applications, I'm sure for people who are professional. Um, but but for me, I, I'm not the most technically astute person out there, and as a result, it's good enough. But I'm sure it
There you
could do.
go.
I'm sure it can do all kinds of wonderful and fabulous things. I'm just not quite good enough to do that yet.
Did David mention if he was going to be able to make it early like that?
Yeah, he and I were on last night, and I said we were meeting earlier, so let me text him right now and find out what's up. He might have forgotten that we were playing early.
It gives me a second to finish these matrices.
Did you guys ever play diplomacy back in the day?
I never did.
Oh, okay. There was always that
Here.
rule where the guy didn't turn in his orders or he left the table or whatever, then your country was in civil disorder and none of your pieces moved. So it's like, oh, David's not here. Okay, I guess all of those maneuver units he has, oh, the guys can't do anything. So, yeah. Well, let's see here. Michael, are you in the vassal room with us?
I am.
Huh.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
no,
you need
sorry.
to go to you need to go to the Monday Madness folder. There we go.
Yeah, sometimes when you double click on it, nothing happens. So
Yeah.
Sorry,
catch that.
we're starting early tonight.
Yeah, we were starting early. So
Yeah.
all right. I just kind of figured you'd forgotten. Or you had, you were drowning your sorrows from colon by drinking multiple margaritas. Let's see, we have Wardrobe Plays WW2 saying Happy Monday. And his comment is the holiday threw him off. So that's what we're gonna say. Yeah.
Yep.
We're gonna blame it on that. Yeah, because we are meeting or starting about an hour and a half earlier than usual. And that is so that our East Coast colleagues don't have to stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we are partway through, as I recall, we are partway through the 8:20 turn. We still have some more chits to pull from the Cup of Fate. And if everybody is ready for that, we can go ahead and I'll grab one and get us going.
If we're going to call it the Cup of Fate, sounds like we should do some dramatic music leading up to that every chit being pulled.
Is that it? Okay. I will find something that's appropriately Indiana Jones. It does sound like, Indiana Jones and the Cup of Fate. So
I love it.
All right. We have Russian Maneuver Unit 4 has come up. And let's see.
That's fourth corps over on the west.
Okay.
Can start working on it.
And let me grab another one and see what we get. And Russian Maneuver Unit 5. Is that one of yours, Mitch?
It sure is.
Okay. Well, we've got those
I
two
wanted
going.
to ask Brendan a couple quick questions on this real quick, if he's got a second.
No, you're not allowed to.
Sure. Do you want to talk about him? Do you want to talk about him here or down in the HQ?
Let's go to the HQ real quick. It won't take long.
Harry? It won't take long. Sure.
All right. Well, that takes care of a bunch of Russian stuff. I'm sure that's going to keep both Robert and David busy. Do we have anything left on your side of the map to pull either Rick or Michael?
Regroup has been pulled, so Fifth Corps has moved.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they're heading towards the terminus.
I do have a follow-up question for that. So
sure.
So Poniatowski is the corps commander, right? And he's
Correct.
moving over toward Napoleon.
Yep.
Does he move? Does he move during the regroup or during the leader chit?
He moves during the
leader.
leader chit.
Oh crap! I'm sorry. I apologize. I moved him during the regroup, misremembering that. And so when the leader chit gets pulled up, I will just say, "Hey, he moved already." So
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
no,
if
well,
if
he'd
he
be
were
much further along.
if he were part of the like if you had a core or maneuver unit, then he
Mhm.
would move when that core maneuver unit chit was pulled.
yeah.
And he was like right here, if I remember right, right? So he's
me-
going to actually, on the leader chit, he will be double along that because so he'll be further along at the end.
Yeah, so on the
Uh,
trails, if you look at it, the leaders move at half movement on a trail.
mhm.
So as David was saying, I think he was here, right? And
Yeah.
so it was 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., etc. So I mean, if you want, you can move him back here, and then when the leader chit comes up, you can move him
Alright.
accordingly,
Thank you,
because we
gentlemen.
know
And
where he started.
it was what, right here?
Yeah, right
All
there.
right.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
and
Very good.
yeah, and so just remember that on the trails, the leaders are half movement, and then
Robert, you want to
infantry
go down
is
to room 1 and we can work on
3/4.
the fourth filter?
So for every 3 movement
What
points you
was that?
spend, you move 4 hexes.
You want to go to game
Yeah.
room 1? We'll work on the Russian fourth corps.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go down to game room 1 and see what's going on with Russian Fourth Corps, unless you guys want to try to pull another chit.
Well, who's doing 4? Okay.
So that is Brennan. It's over
Okay.
there on the French left wing.
And Mitch
And
is
then Mitch is
5.
moving stuff in the center from what it looks like. Mitch was Borozdin, which is this heavy
Yeah.
cavalry
Okay.
leader.
I
So
should probably
you
give
could
him
probably
that.
watch him. I'm going to go follow what's going on with the other guys.
Not exactly all that teaching.
Oh, cool.
Hey guys, I thought I'd come down and watch the fun.
All right. We've got the Russian fourth corps moving here. There was a grenadier battalion up there in square who moved down under here to line up into that firing line. Now these artillery batteries over here are going to try to limber up. There's 2 of them in that hex. That's a yes, and they both limbered. So they're going to roll down here. And Miloradovich is going to drop back to join them. And then Bennigsen's going to ride up there. That guy needs his ADC with him. And then something funny happened there. Did both of them go? Yeah, both of them. That's amusing. Okay. This one is actually like half and half. All right, let's see what's next.
Is there a reason why you presented them that way instead of having them each in their own separate hex?
They have 3 increments in the one hex and 1 in the other. It's a
Ah, okay. Oh, it's a half
Yep.
battery. Okay.
half battery because of otherwise they'd overstack kind of thing. It's just
Okay.
like- let's see.
Excuse me.
Just gonna Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll go there. This disordered unit, he's not next to any French, so he'll just move. Okay, he's got kind of damage. He's got 4 move points, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that guy stayed. This one's going to move down here, staying in square. That's Grenadier. Pretty good Grenadier. They got to find something to do. Guess they'll wander down here. They're going to leave the leader behind. Bob, what I'm trying to do is get the division, that's a whole division, right, into more or less a pretty well-organized checkerboard so that the front groups in it, like this, they've got firepower targets. The mid groups, they're basically kind of looking to be squares because of your cavalry or supports. And then the back groups on the back of the division, they're looking to line up actually as far away as possible so that next turn, if there are targets, they can launch assault rushes from way far away and get the big, morale benefit for being far away on a chart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool idea.
So they're not, it's the back battalions in the division checkerboard that try to do the assaulting, not the front battalions.
So you move them to within like 4 or 5 of the line.
Well, yeah, so that next turn they can get a 6 or 7 hex run and get that, morale benefit.
Do you put the units with higher morale in that function?
I don't even worry about it
Okay.
because I mean they're all going to find something to do sometime in the game, and that may be now or maybe later. But you definitely like the division with a division commander here with a command range of 3. You're going to end up with a strong 3x3 checkerboard of battalions, right? Like from here, he can go okay, that's occupied by cavalry. So his front is here, then the next one is here. Like that's more or less the 3 on the front. And then you're going to have 3 in the middle, kind of through here, kind of thing, except that there's artillery coming in off the flank, so they're not going to go out there. And then the heavy hitters are going to be charging in from depth because it takes advantage of the.
Yeah, and I mean,
that-
it looks like we're not too badly penalized. It looks like from a range of 4 hexes or more, there's a 0 modifier. So it's only if we're launching an attack from a range of 3 or less that we've got some sort of penalty from what I see.
Oh, so it's the French that have the.
Right. Yeah. So if you look at the chart, it's got
Russians use the French stuff.
no. The Prussians, aren't we using? Oh, the Russians. Oh, prior to 1810. Ah, okay. All right. So this is now 1812. All right. So yeah, we're using the French. Okay. Cool. Forget what I just said.
Robert, this Cossack over here is going to go try to stir up some trouble with your 3rd Light Division over on the far left. So he's going to like come up the slope, cost him 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one of the big reasons for that checkerboard is there's always a path for people to find a way.
So he is part of the 4th Division?
He got commanded. Yeah, he's
part of the
he's
Corps.
He's an army asset, and he got commanded to the 4th Corps under him there. So he's traipsing up through the checkerboard. He's going to go here, then he's going to go here in a 2 hex line, and he's going to go here. So now you can opportunity charge him with either of your chasseurs you want. With those.
Your unit stopped its movement then?
Well, it moved into a 2 hex line there, and then it moved 1 hex forward, whereupon either of these groups have a reaction if they want it, an opportunity charge.
So they haven't necessarily stopped moving, Robert. It's just at this point you have to decide to either opportunity charge or not opportunity charge, and then they can conceivably the Cossacks could continue on with their movement.
And at this point, I'll tell you how many movement points they spent. So it was 2. They've gone 13, so they have 3 movement points.
3 movement points left?
Yep.
No, I've gone more than 13. Where'd they start?
Is that right?
All right, so up the hills 2.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Extend into double hex line 12. Move
No,
in
that's
forward.
3. That's okay. No, never mind. I'm sorry. I was thinking it was changing formation. It just extending.
Yeah, he was in single hex line to start with.
Yeah.
Do you have more cavalry with the 4th Corps?
There's a dragoon regiment in the 4th Corps, which is back here.
No, right now I see no reason for you to attempt to
charge. No,
there's no upside to that.
I don't see any upside either.
Okay, he'll stop. He's stopping them. Okay, he stops.
Yeah, the cavalry's or the infantry's in square. So.
All right, I'll keep moving. Let's see. Now I have a few battalions floating around off the back of the 23rd Division that need to find some place to go to be in command for next turn. That's Kaporsky Regiment. He's probably up here. Hate doing that, but they will. It gets hard to, find places to put all your guys early.
Yeah,
He'll do
it's stacking the leaders separate from your units makes the map kind of more messy, doesn't it?
Yep, it does. And then, and you kind of want to do that so they don't get swept away by accident, which is never any fun.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
maybe who's up there? That's a loose battalion. He'll take a chance and stack under the grenadiers here. Yeah, he's not likely to see a lot of action, but there he is too. Okay, and then that's most of that division. I think it's all moved.
Question
And
with
I'm checking.
Tolstoy, with the activation, that activation comes from, that's what, how does that work? With the
He
activated?
came from, so his command came from Barclay down here.
Oh, okay.
And it went to Miloradovich, who's the wing leader, who's here.
Okay.
And that's like a range of 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Miloradovich has gotten another 10 over to Osterman Tolstoy, who was up there. So that wing is spread fairly close to its maximum range. Now this division has a few more units to move. Actually, yeah, that's core level. So that battery up there is going to belong. And then just make sure that that's really what they want to do. Yeah, they're good. Okay. And then there's this other division up here, which is the 11th division. Now it's going to move, and it kind of to push west, I think, while staying command 2, 4, 6. So the division commander is going to end up there-ish. So then he's going to be in 2, 4, 6 of his core commander. And now I got to go bring the division over to be within his command range so that they can do something next turn. And again, I'm trying to build that 3x3 checkerboard more or less. So like here's the division commander, means his forward battalion is going to be over there probably. How about this guy? Can you get there? 1, 2. Hey, perfect. Okay, so this guy is going to go around the corner there. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8. Very good. Okay, that works. That's grenadiers. We like the grenadiers. They have better fire. Okay, then there's a Polotsk regiment. Where's the other one of that? Who knows? Okay. So let's see. So now in order to keep a checkerboard, like the next one is probably here, and we want to get the people from kind of farish back to get there. So, and at this point, I'm kind of like last turn, I was very concerned about all the French cavalry because the Russian cavalry hadn't arrived. But now the Russian cavalry is there, and it's like, okay, we probably don't need the square. 2, 7, perfect. Okay, they get there, and those guys are both in the same regiment, so they don't have that round. We have the Dragoon back there, but let's clear the scrum for that. Style move. He's going to go. Hey, the Russian horse battery here is so heavy that nobody can move through it. So I go around it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Okay, that's not ideal, but it'll do. This is Polotsk again. We already talked about that. Where's the other battalion? Here. That's whole regiment. It can be the backside of this division. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I'm not all that happy because my units are starting to crowd up, right? Like, and if we get a route coming in through here, that's trouble for all the guys behind him. I'm kind of hoping that they're far enough back from the action that we won't see that, but it could happen.
How about there?
I'll just, how about there? Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, now we have a little more checkerboarding going on. Oh yeah, there's Kexholm. So 1, 2, 3, maybe the Kexholm regiment's position is here. That lets the other guy go around the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably there. At this point, when they're getting this close to the action, you usually want to start spreading out the battalions, but we're still like finishing the approach march, so it's okay to maybe keep them stacked in regiments, even though that's not ideal. I mean, there's still Pollock. Okay, maybe over here. Then there's dragoons. What do they want to do? Maybe we want some cool cavalry in the back someplace. Maybe it's like, let's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there, 8 to there, 9, 10 maybe. That kind of thing. Not super critical. Maybe too tight up on the units. 10. It's too close, so I think I'll just keep them back here. Okay, there's a bit more infantry. That's all the skirmishers, a lot of them. Okay, let's try to get them around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's more or less checkerboarded relative to the infantry. They have a route channel back here. And they're heavier stacked than you like, because like when you have those big stacks, they start becoming artillery.
And where's their division leader?
Those are the
11th?
skirmishers of the 11th Division.
11th. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they belong to this whole group. Only they're
okay.
at the rear and they want to get to the front. I don't know why they're at the rear, but there they are. Okay, and then there's this silly old guy here who still hasn't found his second battalion. But, okay. Can anybody see the 2nd Battalion of Polotsk Regiment? This regiment. Where did you go? They always turn up in the wild, but
Well, I don't
maybe he's going to go
see him back where
here.
you
2, 3, 4,
marched
5,
him.
6. They'll go out there. Guess it's just one of those units that gets lost on a big battlefield. Maybe there isn't one. Maybe it's a single battalion regiment. How about that? 4th Corps.
4th Corps, which division? 11th Division?
11th Division. There's a third. There is a 3rd battalion that.
Oh, but it's not on the map. Yeah.
It must never have made it on the map. So okay, probably that was an oversight when separating the regiment. Did it get killed? It didn't get killed, did it?
No, you've been marching. I think that whole division hasn't seen any action yet.
So,
and besides, we're stacking the dead elsewhere.
On the levels
core level display, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, I mean, maybe we'll just put him somewhere in towards the back then. Okay. Or we'll put him here. All right. Only that leader, Miloradovich's guy, still hasn't moved because he's an ADC. His job now is to look for who's out of command and go help him in case there's a straggler who's out of command. But I think we're good for now. So that's that.
Cool. All right, let's go back to the cup and see what we get. All right, we're on to French maneuver unit number 5.
That's mine.
And then after that is the leader movement phase. So,
See, so it's Armano.
yeah. All right, I'm going to go move my leaders around,
Okay.
paradrop them into advantageous places.
All right, I guess I'll move Poniatowski then.
Yep, now you can move Poniatowski. Get him where he needs to be. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay.
4, 5, 6,
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, all right.
So we'll move we'll move Guyon. He only has one unit, I see. I thought he had 2. The other one's probably run away somewhere. So we will move him into one from double line to just single hex. Like that. Oh no, he has his unit there. Okay, cool. We'll do this then. We'll have these guys here. Okay. Then we're going to have Davidowitz and his group here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we can unlimber that. Oh, actually, Dave, if I put this in this gully here, in this low, I can shoot over it, or I can't? I can't, right?
You cannot
cannot
shoot
shoot
over
over
your
your-
own units.
Okay, so then probably not a good idea to have that cavalry.
I did read a while back that the Russians actually did do so, though, historically.
Sounds like a Russian thing.
Mhm.
So I'll these guys here, these guys here. One, two, three. He's in command. Guys are there. Okay, that's all of Armano's stuff, so I'm done with that.
All right. Do we want to pull another chit? Do we want to go back to the lobby and pull?
So
chits
we
there?
Well,
had leader
Are we
chit.
done with the leaders? Yeah.
So the leader chit was the
Leader.
next one that came up.
Um,
I have a bunch of leaders I'm still looking.
Yeah.
and you may want to adjust some, Robert may want to adjust some leaders.
Let's see.
Otherwise, the next one is looks like French chit number 9. I don't know where that's at.
That's 8th Corps.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Well, let me know when you've done moving your leaders, and I'll watch you move around the 8th Corps for fun. For fun and profit.
Okay, so Dave, you want to meet in French headquarters?
Okay.
I feel left out. I'm going to French HQ.
What do you mean? You need to learn Polish and start speaking with Michael. Although I'm sure Marshal Piatowski, well, he's not a marshal yet. He earns his baton like 2 days before he bites the dust there at Leipzig.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, you want Napoleon to have a favorable opinion on him. Maybe you can get your baton earlier, Michael. This is your big chance. You
I'm
know.
sure that the fact that they were fighting in Germany versus east of Poland might have had a little bit to do with, here's the baton to placate you. Because, everybody else was deserting the French cause, right?
Yeah.
I had a good time talking to one of my classmates today. We were working on some Matrix stuff and mentioned that we were playing La Bataille.
Right.
Kind of went through it. He found it very interesting.
Very cool.
He
Indeed.
even went so far as to pull up an article, when on behind the scenes, reading about events.
Whereas I found a guy today who made a video complaining about how busy that the counterfaces were and why do they have to put the individual uniforms on all of the counterfaces? Why can't they all be like the same? And I'm like, you clearly don't understand the time period, man.
He likes World War I games.
Yeah. There's the
Olive
Gray
drab.
Army and the. Well, yeah. I can remember back. I mean, I've got an old copy of Waterloo where the British are sort of this pinkish color, and the French are sort of this bluish, greenish color. I can't remember what color they had the Prussians. Maybe they were gray. It's been so long since I played it. And that was standard Avalon Hill colors.
Yeah.
There could be things done to make the counters more easy to use rather than beautiful. I could see the pluses and minuses in this equation.
No, that's true.
But I also appreciate the tradition of Napoleonic miniatures, which I think is a little bit of a nod here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I hadn't done something wrong while I've got you here, Eric.
Sure.
I moved this unit, but this one here right behind the Great Redoubt up to the north of it, and I moved it from here. Is that mine or yours? I know I had marked it Borison, but had we given you this one and I shouldn't have moved?
No, I mean you're welcome to take it, but I'm not sure which Borazin it is because there's multiple Borazins on the map, right? So that's where
that battery is trying to join the 2 Russian Guard 4th artillery batteries to make the full 6.
Okay, then I do have it right. Okay, I probably should I'll put Borison 2 on it so it's more clear.
yeah, because I've got a Borazin, but he's a who's he? Oh yeah, he's Borazin the first. He's my corps leader. He's the leader of the 8th Corps. But that's definitely your artillery because that's from the 1st Western Army.
Right.
And I don't know that you could attach something necessarily, from one army to another. I'm not sure.
I think the reserve artillery can be attached anywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I don't need it. I've got still plenty of reserve artillery from the 2nd Western Army.
Thank you. Good to get that clarified.
Yep.
Had a good die roll in my Russian campaign game. Got an early winter, which kind of saved my bacon. Just stopped the German advance. It was like, okay, do I play this risky or do I pull back even further? And I said, screw it. Let's keep a little bit more forward position.
Yeah, that's always helpful when the weather turns in your favor, particularly in those Russian campaign style games.
Yep, it'll give me basically 3 turns of winter to put my army back together.
Yeah.
It is the largest
campaign
stack I've ever had.
Russian campaign is a really, really fun game.
Not very realistic, but it is a fun game.
It's like a high level view of things.
It's very tactical. I can say that. It's not, if there's no strategic, I mean, it's just a tactical game. Despite the unit size.
Yeah, I don't think I played that one in ages, but I did play out there at Consim with my friend Keith. We played, Race to Stalingrad or something like that. It was basically, I think, the 1942 German push on Stalingrad, and so that was fun. Most of your Russian units, you don't know what they are because they all deploy face down.
Oh, that's
map. Yeah, and so then you don't know until either you use them to attack somebody or you're attacked, and then you flip them face up and you're like, oh, this is all garbage, or there's a good unit there, kind of thing.
I played that mechanic in the 4 battles of Army Group North.
Yeah. So this is I want to say I think he said it was a Thai Bomba game that Decision Games had republished. It was a lot of fun. It was a hoot. I had a good time, even though I ended up losing. But it just came down. It came down to last turn. I was playing the Soviets, and kept him out of Stalingrad, kept him out of whatever the other city that was up north. But he wiped out a bunch of my guys because they didn't realize quite how the Germans are able to kind of break through and then break through again. They had some sort of mechanic that does that. So I'm just like, oh well. Then he'd surround a whole bunch of people, and poof, he would wipe out a bunch of out of supply guys, which would get him a victory point. And then finally, there was some little tiny little town way down in the Caucasus that he was able to get into on the last turn and cinch the victory. But yeah, it was a hoot. It was a fun game. And I think that was the first time I played a World War II game in a really long time. Well, except for, Blitzkrieg in 20 minutes, which doesn't really count as a World War II war game.
Every single cavalry unit that I have is surrendered. Is it not POW? I don't have a single one left.
Well, did they do their duty? Did they act as
They did.
speed bumps?
They were
Speed bumps on the road to Moscow.
Automatic victory, surrender, speed bumps.
Yeah. That's pretty much what you had to try to do with a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I built up a really nice armored force, which I was able to use to crack a bunch of his stuff. But I probably should have, spread my army out or spread those out a little bit more. But it was a good game. So, all right. Well, they're moving around somewhere. Stuff is flashing from what I can see. So I don't know if he's moving units or... Oh, it looks like he's moving
Do
people.
we want to jump back to the lobby?
Yeah, we can go back up to the lobby. We'll see if Michael's fallen asleep again. Yeah, so Michael, I understand that you fell asleep last time.
I did. Yep. I woke up probably about, 20, 25 minutes after everybody broke. And I was like, oh, I'm the only one on the call. I clearly dozed off because I decided to play on my laptop from my reading chair.
Oh, okay.
And I have a propensity to fall asleep quite often in my reading chair at night when it's late at night. And yeah, I woke up and I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. Nobody's here. Apologies if you heard me breathing heavy or snoring because I don't think I was on mute.
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize it until Well, we tried to say something to you. We didn't hear a response, so we thought, oh, maybe he walked away from the computer, kind of a thing. And then Mitch mentioned it to me when I got your email the next day. So we got you there.
I told my wife that the next day because the next day I texted Mitch. I'm like, hey Mitch, what time did we break last night? And he's like, about 11:30, and I'm like, oh, because I woke up at about 11:50, 11:55, and just before midnight. And I just laugh and I tell my wife that, and she thought that was just the funniest thing. She's like, you fell asleep on the call with other people? I'm like, yeah. Apparently they're talking to me, and I'm out. And she just thought it was so funny.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So all of that to say that during the later time of our game sessions, if I'm ever not responsive, it's because I'm asleep.
There you go. We need to get like one of those little shock collars that you wear, and we have a little button in Discord that sends a signal remotely. That gives you, zaps you, wakes you up there.
9 volts on the tongue will do the trick.
There you go. That definitely would do that.
Yeah, that's the old home inspector trick to see if the battery in a smoke detector is good.
Yep.
Yeah, just short it with your tongue.
Yep. Yeah, that reminds me of that episode.
Tomorrow we'll be building their first circuits. It'll be exciting. It's always a fun day.
There you go.
So you're doing the TA thing again this year, Mitch?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Doing machine learning. That's exciting. That's where I'm doing all this matrix stuff that I've never done before.
Sweet.
I was able to write some Python code that can do most of it and turn it into a program. So that could be helpful because we can use that during the exams and so forth.
So what I'm really hearing you say is that you're scaling up so you and I together can write a good bot, a good opponent bot via machine learning.
That, we had to write up a little bit, why we're in this class and what do you expect to do, and that's the that's the last potential. Sort of like, if I could make if I could get all my things done, a long-term project is developing a machine learning concept that could actually provide you with a meaningful game experience. Yeah.
Because I understand Python is the language that when people push towards those endeavors, Python is supposed to be the language they do that in.
Yep, Python is what we do machine learning in. Yep.
Nice.
So I'll have C#, Java, and Python now under my belt.
Nice. C++.
I haven't done C++ yet, although we do a little C+ in the lab tomorrow. So I guess I've got a little C+ as well. Which I think is still object based, which is helpful.
I almost pulled the trigger on learning Python 10 years ago, and part of me kind of regrets not doing that.
What I like about it is you can just write your own program to do your own thing. And I will say ChatGPT is very good at writing, simple Python stuff. If it will help, and you can describe it, real in a meaningful way. It'll write you some good code there.
Cool.
Well, do we know what happened to Robert and David? Are they moving the other core? Or are they still moving leaders?
You could do center on move and it would tell you.
Yeah, I don't see anything popping up as moving. I mean, it shows Lauriston moved, but nothing else has moved in a while. So that's why I was curious if they were. I think I told David that the French chit number 9 came up. So.
Which is their 8th core, is that it?
That's yeah, that's Jourdain's core, or Junot's core. Yeah, so that's the 8th core. So yeah, I'm not sure what they got going on. In fact, are all the French now down in the French HQ? No, we still have Michael spying on the Russians.
Well, he's Polish.
He is. He's practically Russian.
Yeah. I'm straddling.
Although he just flashed over my ear.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's historically a lot of bad blood between the Russians and the Poles. So
I have a good friend of mine. He's one of my wargaming buddies. He is I think 2nd generation Polish American.
right.
And his last name is like 26, consonants in it. And he is really big into the family history, and he is able to trace his family lineage to the Tartars in, I think, the 1500s, and he knows exactly how many in the family fought for the Russian Empire and died for the Russian Empire in World War I, how many fought and died for the German Empire in World War I, and then how many, to escape the coming war, fled to the United States to avoid fighting either one of those belligerents, right? Really, really like crazy stuff, and it's so cool to listen to him tell these stories about, you know, where in Prussia or where in East Prussia some of the family holdings were, where in like Lithuania, where in, you know, modern day Poland that some of this stuff is. Yeah, it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, one of my dear fencing students, he's 81 now, but he's second generation. Well, he was born in Europe. I don't know that he was born. He might have been born in Poland during the Second World War, but was able to escape. I think his father and grandfather were in the Polish army and ended up being killed by either the Soviets or the Germans. I'm not sure who, but he was able to trace back one of his ancestors was with the French Imperial Guard horse artillery. So he's got an old sword and some other stuff that are artifacts from this. And so he and I were talking. He was trying to see if we could find some more data about this great great grandfather of his who was actually with the French Imperial Guard as a Pole serving for the French Empire. But
Wow.
because I am Swedish and he's Polish, he's always chiding me about, you know, oh, the Swedes and the Poles and this, and he'll bring up some battle, you know, during the Great Northern War, whatever it was, during where there was the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth fighting against the Swedes, and then I'll bring up someone, oh, well, remember the Swedes kicked your butt at blah, blah, blah. And we're like referencing battles that happened 400 years ago or whatever, 300 years ago. You know, like this rivalry between the Swedes and the Poles is so ingrained, you know, kind of a thing. It's pretty funny. So, all right. Well, do we have everybody back? Are we able to
No,
carry on, or
we'll
are
be
we
here in a
still
second.
moving? Oh, okay. All right.
Question for you. What is the artillery defense in brush, limbered or unlimbered?
20.
Where does it say that?
It's in the charts for the game, not the
It's not in the
tab that you put in Vessel.
Yeah, it's not the one in Vassal, because that was confusing me. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? It's 10.
Yeah. No, it's unlimbered in the clear is 16 and unlimbered in the brush is 20.
Okay, and so that's just in the box itself.
Yeah, that's what it says here under the fire defense. It's
Okay.
if you print out the rules, I guess, from the La Bataille de Moscowa on the labataille.us site,
Yep.
it's got, I think it's a four-page set of charts that has the
6
movement and square.
Yeah, I got all that. Okay.
Yeah.
I just make sure everybody's clear that we're not using the Moscow charts that's in Vassal, and that because it's different, and we're using the 6-pager charts.
So
I
we're
guess the
using the
6-pager doesn't
Bataille de Moscowa?
No, the 6-pager doesn't actually have the defense movies.
It's in the 4-page one that you can download. It's specifically if you go to La Bataille de Moscowa on labataille.us site, it's got a 4-page set of charts that are basically for Regs and Marie-Louise that have the movement chart, square formation, stacking, command span, fire effects, fire defense, and then cavalry recall, artillery limbering, etc. So
it's all good.
And
yeah,
and that shows 20 for unlimbered versus 10.
Yep. I see it now. Okay. Good.
What's the site for that?
it's labataille.us.
Yeah. Then you just go under games, and it's like it'll be under Moscow.
Right, and it might be under Moscow 2 version 2 because they've got, I think with some of the games I think with Moscow there was, you've got 3 or 4 different sets. If we go with the original one from Martial Enterprises that ended up being printed on a mass scale by GDW, I think they've got a rule set for that.
Okay.
And then this would be Moscowa number 2, version 2, which is the edition that Clash of Arms put out here a dozen years ago. So
I'm going to have to add those to the module. I'm going to do that.
yeah.
So what's driving that change then from the printed
Yeah,
copy from Clash?
I'm gonna move the 8th core right now. So
Okay.
I know it's very dramatic. So
What is driving that? I think it's a case with the regs, generally speaking, because your artillery is taking a hit every time it takes a hit, as opposed to with other rule sets where you've got to get 2 hits to do one hit of damage on it. So it's increasing the fire defense in order to kind of compensate for the fact that any hit on the artillery is going to cause a loss.
Oh, and the anniversary edition by COA isn't that written for fifth edition rules?
Well, it was actually written for Marie Louise rules, but I'm not familiar with what all's going on. But I know, generally speaking, with the regs, it's, if you look at some of the other different charts that accompany games that are for the regs, you'll see that the fire defense for artillery in the clear is 16 instead of 8.
Oh, okay.
And that's because you've got you know, with a fire defense of 8, well, you have to get 2 hits on it to do 1 increment of damage. You basically, for every 2 hits, you do 1 increment. So if you had that same lower fire defense and you're causing a hit to everything, well, then everything's going to get dinged up really fast. So they increase the fire defense to compensate for it. And it's something that Ed Wimble and I worked on or tried some play testing with, because in when we were play testing his 2nd edition of Moscowa, we talked about the idea, okay, well, what's the deal with infantry? Because right now in the 5th edition rules, it's like counter battery fire, artillery will take, you know, it needs 2 hits to cause 1 hit of damage. But it doesn't say anything about musketry fire. So we had play tested where if you were infantry firing on the guns, and the guns were all by themselves, then the guns had the same fire defense as skirmishers, because they're all spread out. It's not like it's a big concentrated target necessarily. And so that might make it into an updated version of 5th edition at some point in the future, because it was something that we toyed around with. Because otherwise, if the guns are taking a hit from the musket fire 1-to-1, then, you know, you just run a bunch of infantry up or skirmishers up and fire on the guns and basically kill the gunners.
I did not know that this was a separate set of charts. Thank you.
Yeah, David enlightened me. It's like, David, you're wrong. He's like, no, I'm not. Look, go talk to Brent. Okay, sorry.
And then there's that square formation chart you guys have been talking about. What is he talking about?
Oh, did you not see the square formation chart? Yeah.
Well, I see it in these 4 pages here now. So
right.
Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Well, and then when you have the updated module, where are you gonna park it?
Oh, I had put up a link that just went to a Google Drive.
Okay.
But I'll add this. I'll add these 4 charts, and I'll put the link back up on the Discord site. And
Okay.
anybody that's listening online, I mean, they're welcome to grab it from the Discord site. As far as I'm concerned, it's no big deal.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I hadn't downloaded it yet, and I thought I'd give it a try since it's got the your little
Give me one more
flags
day.
kind of
I'll
thing.
get you that. It's got the
Yeah,
flags. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that might be fun to take a look at that and see how that works. So
It helps
make it
me.
easier for me to find stuff. Well, and what Rick had done was he wrote the name of the division leader on all of the infantry and artillery in the little note thing. So if you look at it, it'll then say Gerard's division or Friant's division or whatnot. So that's kind of one way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm all done.
All right, let's go back up to the cup and see what is left. So this is the French 10th mu and the French 12th mu. So mu number 10 and mu number 12.
So mu number 10 was for Prasync, and well, there's nothing for Prasync, so
Oh, okay.
Not anymore.
Okay.
Do you want to move him as a leader to be someplace else?
Probably on top of his units.
Right, and it looks
Now,
like
but they have to be 15 away to make a morale check, right?
Wait, Brandon, can he do that? If the division has a move, can he move the leader in the leader phase?
no, he wouldn't
I
move
think
during the leader
You
phase.
can move
Right?
one or the other. You can move one or the other.
He can do either one. Okay.
Yeah, but I have to wait. He can ride along until he's 15 away, right? To reorder them.
Like you're talking about praising and the routed unit?
Yeah, that's his unit there, routed. If I stack him with them, they can't.
They will be able, if they have a leader stacked with, they can check before if they continue to route, they will still continue to route. But if they don't have a leader, they can't check until they're 15 away.
Yeah.
Okay, but if they have a leader, then they can.
Yes.
Yep.
And if they're stacked with
If
if
they
the
all
leader
run,
is
they all
stacked
run
with
away,
a routing unit, it has to go with them.
It has to go with them.
Which is not a decrement for you right now.
Well, fair enough. I was just letting you
No.
know that it's required.
Okay. I think I got it. All right.
Now,
All right.
I did have a question that occurred to me during the week after I thought about. I was just thinking back some of the things. His disordered unit up there in Bezabova, that is part of praising. Could he have tried on the regroup tried to move towards praising?
Generally, yes, except that he's adjacent to an enemy unit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so even though he's part of a maneuver unit, he could? Because I thought if you were part of a maneuver unit, you could only move when your maneuver chit gets pulled.
He's out of command though, so he.
Yeah, but he
not part of
wasn't
the
out of
NVO.
command at the beginning of the turn.
And
He's
they
out of
can,
command
No,
at
he
the
was.
moment of checking.
He was
Yeah.
he was out of command. That's why I had a move for pressing was to reorganize things.
Oh, okay.
So.
Because I thought so. Obviously, so what you're saying is during the course of the turn, if you've got units that are part of a move, but they are repulsed because of a cavalry charge or whatever, that then when the regroup chit comes up, they can move.
their status changes to out of command at that point if they go out of command,
Huh.
even
okay.
though they were in command at the beginning. You can't do the opposite. They can't be out of command in the beginning and end up in command, but they can.
Start in command and end up.
Yeah, no, so that's
maneuver.
that's markedly different than with 5th edition, where you check their status at the beginning of the turn, and if they're out of command at the beginning of the turn, then they're going to move back towards their guys. But if they're part of a maneuver unit, they can only move when their maneuver unit comes up. So that's why
As a
I'm,
part
that's
of
why
the
I'm
command.
curious. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and it's
So this looks like it's different. It says regroup chit. Units that are out of command and not adjacent to an enemy unit may move so as to place themselves in command or close the distance separating themselves from their immediate superior. Yeah, so I think that's
right. And
difference because
7.1.2 also um, uh, explains about being they initially check for command, but they can become out of command
right.
when their chit is pulled. Units which are in command may lose their in command status due to enemy actions.
Okay. All right. Well, so that's a subtle difference there. Cool.
Yeah.
All
Which
right.
is why those assaults are interesting, because then they pin those units. So if the maneuver pops up, they can't really move.
Well, yeah. I mean,
what
unless
being
they're
assaulted.
still in command. Yeah.
Even
So
if they're in command, I think because they're being assaulted, they can't move.
oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, they are pinned by the assault. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then we had maneuver unit 12 was the last one.
Right. Okay. And I've got that. So let's see where I got. Where does the last piece of
It's in the
that
middle.
want to go? So let's see. Let's see.
Brennan, if a unit's being assaulted and a MU comes up of another enemy unit, MU, can units moving past him still be opportunity shot? If he has an assault marker on him, if he's being assaulted?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not sure if it's covered exactly here, because he's
You keep moving, young man.
So your question is, units that are subject to assault, may they provide opportunity fire?
Yeah, so if I'm assaulting one of the militia units, and
Okay.
then, he's now pinned, I now have another MU that pops up of my units. Can I now move my units past that militia and can that militia then opportunity charge those other units in a different
No.
MU?
No.
Because he's being assaulted, right?
The assault takes precedence over.
You have their focus.
Yeah, okay.
They don't
You
care
didn't hear
about
any of that? Oh,
They don't care about the other guys.
Eric.
Page
running
32,
up.
16253.
Okay, thank you.
Assaulting units and their targets are not allowed to conduct opportunity fire.
All right, there you go. I wasn't asking at all for anything in particular. Eric.
I'm asking
Mitch-
for a friend.
Yeah. Mitch, what number was that?
16253,
16.
page 32, I think.
Okay, cool. All right. 16. So it's under the assault section then, 16.
Under assault restrictions.
So I think, is that all the chits?
That is all the chits. That was the last one. So the cup is empty. So
Dun,
I
dun,
guess
dun.
now it is time for firing, and then we would have assaults afterwards. So I don't know where you guys want to start, over on the western edge of the map and work our way towards the center and then across to the east.
There's no firing on the west at all.
Oh, there's a little. In particular, Mitch's battalion here and my grenadiers here and this artillery battery up here are going to fire at that disordered unit.
Okay.
I think you have the
Together-
majority, so you can fire this one.
Let's see. Yeah, okay.
We have 33 firepower. I think the fire defense is 8. Is that right?
Let's see. Infantry that is ordered in the
Yeah.
clear. Yes, it's 8.
So this is 4 to 1. That's probably a hit on that guy.
Yeah, it's up 32, right? Yeah.
All right. Make a morale check. No, they're
Oh,
happy.
he's happy.
All right.
Well,
I would have rather had
Now-
him out.
Yeah, I know. Same with me. I can shoot back, right?
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
adjacent.
Yeah. Who are you shooting at?
Let's see. These guys already have 2 on them.
Is the 4-8 in a flank? Does that matter?
No, because it's refused flanks.
Because the unit next to him?
Yeah.
Got it.
The grenadier has a refuse flank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just shoot the one in front of us. So we have.
It's probably 8 to 9. You're printed. Oh, and then it's halved
probably-
because you disorder, so it's 4 to
Four.
9.
But it's only 4/5 to start with as well.
No, that's not for the printed value.
Oh, it's not, okay. So one step has 8.
Yep.
It's only when you get to the
one step
last
platform.
increment that it's halved.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, it's 4 to 9.
So it's 4 to 9. It's 1 to 2.5.
No,
Yeah.
that's my morale check actually.
The next shot is Bagavut
Thank you.
and the battery combining with this infantry against that square. Mitch, this is your shot. You have the main infantry firepower.
All right, so I'm bringing 12, and you're bringing, what was that again?
9 for the artillery.
21 to, is it 6?
Yeah,
6.
21 to 6.
There.
Call it 3 to 1,
3 to 1.
and plus 2?
Plus 3.
Plus 3, here we go. 42.
Well,
That's a
that's
hit.
good enough for a hit.
Okay.
Let you decrement your ammunition.
Yeah, I did the ammo. Yeah.
And we'll make a morale check. That's good.
No.
And at 3 steps, you can't be in square anymore.
Yeah, I
no, no,
can.
no. He's
below
if
3.
it's less
it's
than
below
3, you
3.
can't. Yeah,
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah, I
I thought
just
it was 3.
nearly there.
nearly there.
So it probably shoots back, and it can probably combine with the castle if you want it to, unless you want the church.
I wish it was a castle with some guns on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
A man of war on the Vionia.
It's just a wooden church. I've climbed it, so it's not that.
It's really not deserving of the name special structure.
There were some bats in the Onion Dome when we went there.
Right, you're shooting with 10 if you do both of them against that line.
Yeah, and he's in.
Yeah, it's still just a defensive
Estimated?
9. It's a 1 to 1.
1 to 1. Oh, that's a hit.
56. That's a hit. Palpable hit.
And he saves.
Okay.
Good stuff. All right. Next shot is these two artillery batteries here are gonna shoot at this square over here. They have 10 plus 2.
with a +3.
That's 1.5 to
1.5 to 1.
1. That's a hit.
That is. So yeah, it's a 55.
Chipping away.
Yep. Make a morale check. They're happy.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say they're necessarily happy, but
Robert, do you have some artillery over here that wants to do any firing?
oh, let's see. I forgot about over here.
I'm not sure this unit has, does this one even have a line of sight to anybody? I mean, because you'd have to fire over these guys to get over here.
We can shoot at these guys.
Yeah. he
Oh,
could
'cause
shoot
those are
straight
just leaders.
across the way,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally makes sense. Sometimes I see those leaders and I think, oh, that's a unit.
Hit the ground.
Yeah. So that would be a what? A 1-to-1 shot.
2, 3, 4. That's right. Yeah, 1-to-1 shot.
Well,
Oh, actually, no. It's a
Plus 3
cavalry in
modifier.
line is 8, so it's 6 to 8. So it's not. It's
But it's overstacked, so it's 6.
oh, is that what it is?
Oh, if it's over 9, it's overstacked.
Well, it's over 6. That reduces the fire defense, and it's got 10 increments over 9. It's plus 3 on the roll.
well, let's check your lines. Because you've got another artillery down here you might want to use to shoot at that one instead.
You have a bunch of good ricochets in different directions.
Let's see. Yeah.
1, 2,
Yeah, probably
3,
do,
4,
but then the other
5,
one,
6,
oh,
7.
This
Okay.
one could hit that one and
Yeah.
ricochet and blade, and that one could shoot up the line through 3 units.
oh, okay.
Wait.
There's like different ways you can run it.
So this one could shoot at this one.
Or here.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they have to shoot there. I forgot that.
Yep.
That's a unit. 1, 2, 3,
Yep.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah, you're going through 3 that, yeah, okay, go that way with that and go this straight through this way with, go this way with the first one.
Robert, a lot of times there's really cool crossfires. Like instead of shooting at the unit right in front of you, you actually do better to shoot off at an angle. And then your other guy on the other side, he fires opposite you across you, and you usually end up getting better lines of fire that way.
Okay.
Like, for example, this unit firing here would hit the flank. That's an enfilade and ricochet enfilade. So that's firing from here. And then this one shooting across is going to get medium range, long range, long range. So that's 3 targets. Like they may not be great targets, or you can go shoot up here. But that's a line with its full face on, right? And then into the column. So there's a lot of different shots you can take. By taking this shot to here, you're getting medium range on that battery. If you
Right. Whereas it's only
It would
2
be long
points.
range. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
thinking about that.
Yeah.
So it is probably better to do.
Yep. I like Brennan's analysis, yeah.
Okay. Then we'll do that. So let's.
So that would be a 4 to 6.
Oh, this one. Okay, 4 to 6 with a +3.
No,
Plus 3.
he said it to here.
Oh, you're going to shoot here. Yeah, good job.
Yeah. So what he's suggesting is this guy here fires at this
Shoots
guy
it.
here. Yeah.
Right. This guy here is firing on this guy.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking we were doing. 4 to 6,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
With a +3, you said?
Yeah. +3 for the stack.
Okay.
So that's going to be a hit.
The best.
Okay.
Good job.
Right. Now that ricochets into this one.
So now that's going to be what? 2 to something, right?
2
That's
to
the medium
8,
range.
maybe. Might be
It's
too
not
low
allowed.
to actually.
It's too
It's
low
a
to
1 to
count.
4, yeah. So
Oh, because you recalculate for the range. It's not
yeah,
still it carries through. Okay.
But then you have you have 1 to 4. It's 1 to 4 here also.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's a
8.
pop gun, but that's a good ranging shot because next turn, if you bring up like these guys, then you could get a lot more firepower down that angle. And you scored a hit on one of the best regiments, so good shot.
Hey, can we talk about that just for a second? The one you were talking about, Brennan? If we add these, I think I was reading in the rules something about if these 3 guns fire together, they have the same.
They can't fire together unless there's a leader, right?
Well, but assuming arguendo that there was I reading in the rules that they have the same path? And so they wouldn't
The
actually have
same
different
path as if they're
ricochets?
stacked in one hex.
Okay, but if they are stacked in different hexes, they're going to have different ricochets?
It's not exactly clear. Sometimes we've played it if they're stacked in different hexes, just like the whole battery is firing down the line, use the whole firepower all the way. Or if you want to be super, linear about it, you can go, well, each battery has a different line of fire, and you can do that. Either way is fine.
Okay. It was not clear to me either when I was reading it.
Yeah, it's not exactly clear. What the rule that you're talking about says, if multi batteries are stacked in a single hex, they all fire on the same line of fire, and they can't separate.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So let's see. So there's that first one, and then this other one is going into these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's 1 to 2. It's an enfilade. Yep.
So it's 3 to what would
3
be
to 6, 1 to 2.
and fly 1 to 2. Okay. So let's do that one. 53. I don't think that's probably high enough.
No, I think at 1 to 2 you need to get into the 60s.
And then you got one more shot there, the same thing.
Okay.
But with a minus.
Which means I don't think you could hit anything.
Definitely
That
not
resolves
hit
it.
anything with that.
Yeah, because like a 1 to
So-
2 with a -6 is impossible to hit.
Those guns are pop guns, and you scored a hit on one of the best Russian cavalry regiments. So that was totally worthwhile. Good shooting.
Thanks.
And what you also did was you ranged in on some possible, like if you get more firepower on those batteries, those are going to be quite dangerous lines of fire.
Does that bring us down to here?
Yeah. I think unless you guys have got something else shooting from the hillsides.
These guys don't have a clear target.
They're blocked by their friendlies in all directions.
Yeah. So what's your next one?
I think we're here.
Okay.
Oh, I guess he does have a shot into the. No, because everybody's being assaulted, and if you're being assaulted or assaulting, you can't. Well, that's opportunity fire. That's different, isn't it?
Right. So
You can fire regular fire on him.
Okay, then regular fire into this hex.
Yeah.
And he's got 1 step, so he's a 12 against skirmishers. I think it's 14, or what are you in orchard? I don't.
well,
remember.
he's I think
15
probably
in the
16
orchard.
in the orchard.
15.
Yeah, 15. So,
What's firing?
15.
The units in line against the units in.
Oh, okay.
and skirmish. So it's going to be a 1 to 1.5.
And that's not
nope.
good enough. Now here, I'll fire there with 12 into 9. Is that correct?
12 to 9.
That ought to be a hit.
That is a hit, a palpable hit.
They're almost dead. Okay, and they are half dead, so that's a -6.
Correct.
26. That's probably still good enough.
Yeah, most of you guys are pretty good.
20, 21. Okay.
Well, why don't you go ahead and fire back while you're at it?
Yeah, so I had 2 increments there, so that'd be 6 to 9.
And you got the skirmishers next to it.
Oh yeah, and that would be another 3.
Yeah,
Three
the
rounds.
line unit can't shoot because it's being assaulted.
Oh, so only the skirmishers.
Yeah, so you'll have a 9 to 9, a 1 to 1.
Oh, so if you're being assaulted, you can't shoot?
You can only shoot at the guy that's assaulting you.
And it's part of the assault procedure.
Yeah.
It's not regular fire.
I see. Okay, so basically these
Those guys can fire on the assaulting unit. Yes.
Yeah.
but
so,
just half of them. These guys, this half of it, not this half.
Oh, both
no,
halves.
because
Uh,
the skirmishers are being assaulted.
Oh, no, he's being assaulted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this half could shoot.
No, because the unit's being assaulted.
Oh,
Or is it
but
just
only
the square?
Only this side. No. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
What's the rule?
No, it's the whole unit. It's
Unit.
considered the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. All right. So then it's only these guys.
Yep. So it's just a
That'd
1 to
be
1.
1 to 1.
Well, it just says the
Oh,
target.
just quickly here.
Assaulting units and their target cannot. Doesn't say the target unit. It just says the assaulting unit and target can't do opportunity fire.
Right. So what's the target? Is the target
The target is this
that
hex.
skirmisher?
Or hexes targets or are units targets?
Units are targets.
Or assault units are targets.
For assault,
fire.
yeah. For fire, a hex is a target, as I read.
There's only 235 mentions of the word target, so
Well, let's check every one. Okay, so I missed.
All right, what's next? You've got some artillery, Mitch. I'm sure you can.
yeah.
launch some shells at somebody.
Well, and
Well,
under assault restrictions, it says joining a target stack during its own movement, additional friendly units that may join a hex, which is the target of an assault, and also become targets of the assault.
Maybe we found a fuzzy spot in Regs 30. There's not too
Maybe.
many of them.
No.
Is there anything in the example of play about that?
So that's,
okay, so if we get that correct, then I'm totally cool with it. When you defend the assault, you only defend at half strength then here, right?
So here's what it's, so we're at 16.2.7.4, assaulting a multi-hex unit. A unit assaulting a multi-hex unit must assault all hexes of the multi-hex unit that are in its front hexes. All hexes of the multi-hex unit participating in the assault are totaled for roll to close, roll to stand modifiers, and for fire, if applicable. So it looks like he'd only be firing and using his totals from the hex that's being assaulted.
I'm cool with that. If then this would be like 6 or 7 for defense, and you'd have what a shot at my assaulting units from here.
So that was with the melee stuff. Let's see what it says.
Yeah, but these truly yours can just retreat before combat anyways.
Yeah.
So we're not. I don't know why we go into all that, but we're trying to decide whether the other half can shoot or not.
yeah.
So it says infantry units which are either conducting an assault or are the target of an assault do not engage in fire combat during the fire segment that precedes the assault segment. They perform offensive and defensive fire during the assault segment. So that it's infantry units. So it's not a hex of the infantry. It's the units. So that would imply that that unit, even though it's in 2 hexes and only 1 hex has the opportunity to fire, wouldn't be able to fire during the fire segment.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Sounds like we got it figured out. I do have a 21 factor shot here.
It's probably 27, Mitch.
Oh, that's what I meant to say. 9 times 3. I should do my math better.
And that's against what, the
And-
cavalry that's in skirmish?
Oh, those guys in skirmish. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I was thinking that was a leader. I don't know why. Yeah, so here first, and then we'll do a ricochet.
So defense of 12, so you're going to have a 2-to-1 shot?
2 to
Or
1
2.5
plus
to 1.
3.
1.5 to 1.
No.
1.5 to 1.
No, it'd be 2.5
It's
to 1.
2 to 1. Just
2 to 1. 2 to
He
1
said
plus
he
3.
had 21, and then you said
27.
12. Oh, 27. Okay.
9 times 3. 2 to 1
Oh,
plus
okay,
3.
2
Here's
to
the
1.
roll.
Yeah,
51.
that's a hit.
Make a morale check. Oh, no, they're unhappy.
And then the follow through.
So
2
they
to
need
1.
to consolidate into 1 hex, Robert, and turn them face up.
Face up.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you?
Yeah, they're
They
no
have to
longer
be
in
either
skirmish.
in that hex or that hex.
Well, they'd move away from the hex that got hit, usually.
All right. Did we say is it -6?
It's -6.
Oh,
65.
54? At 2 to
So
1,
that's still a
hit.
hit, and it's a leader casualty.
Oh, no.
Die roll.
A single die. Die roll, please. A 5. So he is probably wounded for some length of time.
All right.
A leader casualty, 5. Stunned. Result of 1 die equals the number of turns out of the battle. So go ahead and roll 1 die and see how many turns he's out. 5 turns. So he's...
You got to put him on the turn track. Right?
Let's see if we are... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's going to show up at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. We're at the 20 turn.
We are at the 8:20 turn. So if you just put him on the passage of time.
Okay, yeah.
At the
You could
number
also
10
just
spot.
label them 10 o'clock if you want to.
Yeah.
He just like covers the entire.
Then we'll know what to do when he gets there.
He won't let me move it. Hold on. That's interesting. I can't move it to this. Okay, well, he's stuck there for some reason.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, so
All
then
right.
you need to make a morale check for
Oh,
that.
it's because it's a yeah. Okay.
So do you make a morale check then with a minus for whatever the leader is, I guess?
Only if he's killed.
Oh, is it only then? Okay. I know in some of them, even if they're wounded, you have to do that, but well, a 32, I'm sure that those guys, the Westphalians.
They're fine.
But then now you'll need to keep in mind, I guess, for command purposes, does somebody have to step down to take over that brigade, or you have to send a
put an
replacement
ADC on it.
leader?
Yeah, Revest is the ADC down here, and he'll have to move into
Oh, okay. Okay. So those guys will be out of command until...
Robert, while
He
you're
gets
at
somebody
it,
there.
that blue regiment probably should be in a line formation, not a column. Unless
Oh,
you
yeah.
want a 2x.
No, he was in line before.
What keystroke are you using for that?
Is it
Z.
Control X and Control Z?
If you do Control X, it does it the other direction, Robert.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to spin it all the way around to get to it.
I like.
This
I
is
just
how
like
this is how
seeing
Robert
units
makes
spin
his
around.
his opponents dizzy.
Yeah,
So,
there you go.
all right. Do you guys have
I
some
need
other
a little
shooting
entertainment
going
here
on?
and there.
Yeah, although I think someone has a shot here if they want to take it.
Did you mark all your ammo on that?
I did.
Okay.
Well, that's your battery. It's not my battery.
No, I'm saying I think I'm not sure if this is Robert or who's got
Mitch,
that
your
guy, but
better shot might be down south. You got two different shots. You got two choices. Yeah, you could take those guys at
oh no, I'm suggesting that this would be a shot that he could take if he's not in range. I got it.
Well,
Okay.
no, he is. He could fire on this guy here in the flank. That your
Yeah.
infantry that's there on the Kalacha. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So
Yeah, that's what I was
this
gonna
battery
do.
can fire
Oh,
there.
but he's already been fired on, hasn't he?
Yeah, I guess technically.
Oh, would I had to have added that in?
Yeah,
I
you would have
thought,
added it in.
you
I mean,
can't
it would
ar-
have added 3 to it. It wouldn't have. It wouldn't have
But-
tipped the odds
okay.
because it still would have been a
notable
1-to-1 shot.
effect of that shot is it would change the fire defense because of the enfilade.
So okay, because
I'm
in
not-
the
I'm- I
other
don't-
set
we
of
can go back-
rules, you
we can
can't
go back to-
combine
don't
artillery with infantry separately. You can
If
do
you
that.
have a
I'm totally
leader.
cool with recalculating that and going back to the wall.
Well, and this is where Brendan and I kind of differ a little. I say he has to combine. He has to have an artillery officer on that artillery.
Oh, so what you're
Combine
saying is
infantry.
you'd need to have an artillery leader stacked with that guy to combine it with the infantry. Okay.
Yep.
Is
And
this
I
is
suggest
this the
we
question
go-
that you had
I
posted
suggest-
on Facebook, Brennan?
Yeah, I suggest we go through that rule in detail at the start of our next session and not worry about too much today.
Okay.
Okay, with that being said, I do have some more shots. Let's go to these guys here. And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Do you like that
7,
one?
8, 9,
Okay.
10, 11, 12. They can just barely get there.
so 18 to
18 to 20.
ugh. Maybe we should use these guys there instead.
No, the 18's better.
You'll have a +5, so but
Okay,
yeah, so you're basically at 1 to 1.5.
okay, 1
So
to
just-
1.5
Yeah,
plus.
just go ahead and roll, see what you get.
Where's my D?
No,
No.
that's not good enough, even with a +5.
Mitch, on these long range, moderate odds counter battery shots, you're actually counting more on your leader to make the difference. It doesn't make it doesn't really matter very much which low odds you use, as long as you can at least be 1 to 3, because you're just counting on the leader to help you
okay.
hit every once in a while statistically. It's a low odds shot, but it has long-term benefits if you do land it.
And
Gotcha.
there's a leader there.
Yep.
Okay, so there's always that chance of getting a little bump. Okay. So then these guys in the readout and this unit as well, I think let's just check the line of sight. Yes, I agree. And is that within 9?
Yes.
Okay, so I can count all 3 of them. Okay, so that means I've got 5, 14, and 5 is
This guy can't shoot
Bar-
because you can only use 2. Barkley's not a
Barkley's
grand
not a
battery leader.
yeah, he's
Ah.
not a special leader.
okay. So he could fire separately if there was a target, but I don't really see a separate target. So there we go. So it's 9 and 5 is 14
Correct, to 16.
to 16. So 1 to 2.
No, 14 to 16 is 1 to 1.5.
Oh, right. Okay. So 1
With
to
a
1.5
+5.
plus. +5. Here we go. Boom. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
that's a hit.
Should have rolled that one second.
Is it 16 or 15? It doesn't matter.
The skirmishers, oh, yeah, I guess maybe they are 15. They were 16 in Dresden. That's why they're still in my brain that way. And it looks like
You
they're going to
beat 'em up.
disorder.
You were slapping my skirmishers around.
A little bit. You had the big, huge batteries, though, blowing the stuffing out of my Austrian battalion masses there.
Well, I'd say that was reasonably successful. I'll pass the torch on to you, Eric. You've got some shots.
I don't really have much. It's more case that I think David's got some shots there with some of his batteries, or at least he's got one battery, or a couple of batteries here, right, along the Kameninka
Yeah.
Creek.
That name means Stony Brook.
All right. Well, I've got 32 against these skirmishers.
Okay, 32 to 14 with a plus, looks like what, a +4 for your leader?
4. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's going to be a hit, right? Okay, time for morale check. And we're happy.
All right. And so we figured out that this does bounce over, right?
It does bounce over. It hits the square back here. So now you're going to have, I don't know, you're still at long range, right?
Well, let's see. Some of those are only.
Or some of them dropping out.
Actually, they're all 12s.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
But one
4,
of them's
5,
gonna,
6.
let's see, I think one of them drops out because it's of the angle. Because we did this square there, right?
You fired there, yeah.
Right. And so.
So we don't just go what the center of the battery. We go with each individual.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about a minute ago.
We've usually played they each, have their own, and usually it's not too much, but in this case it could be a slight discrepancy, but
Okay.
whatever way, I mean.
My personal inclination is to kind of say that's a hurricane of firepower going downrange on a broad path, like carry the whole firepower all the way through, but I don't know what you guys like.
Well, I'm just curious what the general consensus is. There doesn't seem to be anything that I saw in the rules that tell you for like, okay, you've got a multi-hex battery.
Right.
How does the shot path work? It's always indicating by each individual set of guns. And so I wasn't sure. I mean, you guys have played Regs more than I have. This is only the second time I've played it. So I rely upon your wisdom. But whatever we decide to do, then.
The easier is just to say it's from the center of the 3-gun battery and just go from that. But that's.
So do we also do that for line of sight for everybody, or we're still doing line of sight? So obviously in some cases, right, line of sight could go one way and it's going to block the guy on one edge or the other.
Yeah.
So we still have to have individual line of sight for every gun.
But the line of fire is like averaged out.
Averaged out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's still in 32 to
32 to 6. So you're at 5 to 1 with -6. Oh, that's good enough for
53.
probably a couple of hits. Boom, boom. Let's see where I can find the handy dandy chart. It's going to be 2 hits.
1. Yep.
Okay, morale check with a +6. Oh, He's happy.
11. Oh, and yet the last guy is still in range. Okay. All right. So it's 32 against the.
So it's 32 to, what am I, fire defensive 8?
6, because
6,
you're
there's
overstocked.
Oh,
for the-
okay. Yeah. So it's going to be
6.
another 5 to 1, but you'll have a minus 8,
Well, but a
plus
plus
3.
3. Minus 9.
What's the plus
Minus
3 for?
9.
Because of the size.
Because of the
Okay,
size,
gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. So 5 to 1. 55.
So minus 9, that's going to knock it
45.
down to 45, 42.
42.
So that's a single hit, I think. Find the handy dandy chart.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
And
and
these
round check.
big pounder batteries firing with ricochets.
they're
That's
happy.
like that's the name of the game at board, you know.
Okay, they pass. Have you got anybody else to take a shot?
I don't think so. Not down there.
Okay. Do you have anybody else anywhere else?
Well,
Eric, you have a couple of grand battery shots down at the cavalry by the fletches.
yeah,
I
need to
do, but
mark-
I was waiting for him to see if he had
Yeah.
anything else.
I need to mark off some ammo, but remember to do that. The only other one I've got is this little guy over here.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know who he's shooting at.
A 1 to 3 shot at
Oh,
somebody.
he's shooting at the skirmishers. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, why don't you go ahead and take that shot?
yeah.
That's a miss. Okay. All right. So I've got to have a line of sight from every gun to whatever the target is. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't go over my little guys. So can I fire through the fletches? Do they block line of sight or not?
Fletches? Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
They don't?
But the square, no, they don't block line of sight, but the square does. This square is blocking that line of sight.
Oh, okay. So I could have.
When you say blocking, it's shooting over his guy, basically.
Right.
The fleshes are low earthworks and they don't block line of sight, but the Great Redoubt is taller and it does block lines.
Okay. So then I guess these two guys could fire on what, this guy here in the middle maybe? All right, looks like
Yeah.
they got a clear sight on both. So that's going to be 18 and he's got 7. So that's going to be 3 to 1 with a +5 for Kutayazov. Okay, well, here we go. 23. That's going to bump it up to a 32 at 3 to 1. That's good enough for a hit.
And that by rule attached, that is the top unit, right?
Yeah, the top unit takes the damage. So that the 9th Hussars are hiding behind their friends. So, and then a 24, but I'm sure they're brilliant and Pajol's there.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So I got to make an ammunition wagon thing, right?
Yep. If you right click, I think it's right under there. So.
And does it start off with 12? Okay. So then I got to knock it down 1.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. All right. And then I don't think there's anything else because we're out of range, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Eric,
10.
these batteries can shoot the left-hand cavalry unit.
So
I agree.
these 3 or those 2?
2 at least, maybe 3, probably 2.
Okay.
No, oh, what?
Yeah.
So that one there, no, it's goes through a little corner of the.
Well, he also goes through 3 hexes of brush, and that blocks it.
Yeah. This one can't because
Yeah.
there's the brush. Plus, it's got that guy's there. So These two, though, can fire, it looks like. Yeah, and that's not going through, that's only going through 2 hexes of brush from the looks of it. So that would be another 18 to, what have we got here? Yeah, another 18 to 6.
There
And
are
you've got,
11 steps.
yeah, so
or
it had
10
a
steps, I should say.
+3 for the size, +4 for the leader. So that's going to be a +7 altogether. So 3 to 1 with a +7. 44, that's going to be a 55 at 3 to 1. I'm not sure what that does. It's probably still just a single hit. Yeah, I need to get a 56.
Single, you're just one off.
Yep. Missed it by that much.
Still, a hit's a hit is a hit.
Yes, a hit is a hit. All right, make a morale check, David. 42. All right, so that guy.
He is halved. That makes a difference.
It's not going to make that big of a difference.
Yeah, because they're probably pretty darn good.
23 plus 2, so 21. So I don't think we're near that.
Well, and is it infantry that? Is it only infantry that has that, or is it everybody?
Oh, maybe you're right.
Because I know in some of the
It's
games.
any battalion or regiment size unit, so cavalry is included.
Oh, okay.
Usually artillery is not.
All right. Well, that was the extent of my firing for the moment.
You have your skirmishers, don't you?
Which ones? Or do we have any
Cavalry?
that are adjacent?
Don't they go out 2 hexes when they?
No.
shoot skirmish?
No. Yeah, no. It's only infantry that's in skirmish that has a range of 2.
Oh,
So the
doesn't.
cavalry has in skirmish has that bump zone, right?
Okay, so it's just the movement.
Yeah,
Got
just
it.
the movement thing that it is affecting.
Okay.
So it's only if I were adjacent to you, and I don't think I've got
Got
anybody adjacent to you at the moment. So,
Not yet.
and do you have anybody that can fire at me from where you're at?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, then that takes care of that little bit of business. So I guess we're done with the shooting. So now we would go over and do the assaults.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So we've got 2 of them over here.
With the trialie, or however you say it, they skedaddle, right?
Tirailleurs.
Yours. Yeah.
Whatever Brennan said.
And in French, you wouldn't pronounce the S, but in English you do.
Now, does he just
This has
move
been a
1
cool
hex
question.
away, and stay in
No,
skirmish,
he-
or does he break down into normal?
He stays in skirmish, but he can move.
What, half?
Up to half?
I think he can actually move his whole, but if he moves over half, he ends up disordered. I think I'm trying to get to the.
That's correct, David. David, that's right. Yeah.
So if you move more than half, you're disordered.
Yeah, retreat before
Yep.
assault.
Now, can he retreat through his skirmish unit and have no effect?
Or you could go back this way. 1.
He can only go back that way because the other direction has no under control.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the other assaulting unit, right?
But you're going to drop your right wing back, which gets that clear, and then you can move from there.
So 2 to get into that hex effectively.
I mean, if he drops to here, it's one and the same, isn't it?
You
No,
can't
he-
go there because it has
He
under
can't
control.
because he can't retreat into. So it says infantry may not retreat through enemy units, nor may they retreat into enemy zones of influence. However, friendly units negate enemy units' zone of influence when units
Oh.
retreat before assault.
His first move is to there.
I got it. So he's not consolidating and then retreating.
Yeah, he couldn't
Okay.
consolidate
Got it.
because
Right. And now that's one. Now he can actually, let's see, what's it? what's it? +1 across the Voina or +2 across the Voina?
Plus 2 for infantry.
1, 2.
I guess we can
Infantry
move the
that
whole-
expend more than half of their movement potential conducting a retreat before assault and the retreat in disorder.
That's probably okay.
One. So the next one would be 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you could retreat to here and stay in skirmish. You'd be like that. Or you could go back across, put yourself in disorder, and then hopefully, you could get back to, let's see, it'd be 2, 3,
3,
4,
4.
5, 6, 7.
Each half of the unit passing, you got to pay the river cross twice to move across it.
Do you?
Yeah, because if you're in multi-hex formation, it slows the whole thing down.
That would just cost 6 just to go across that then. 'Cause it's
Which
2
would
plus-
disorder you, and then you could disorder into either. Then you disorder into the square that's across the Voina, so you wouldn't have to pay any. Now,
No, I don't think there's enough movement points from. So moving back 1.
I'd say you could be here disordered, or you can be where they're in skirmish.
Oh,
Exactly.
so we're saying if he just moves straight across like that, that would cost double for the 2 hexes.
Well,
He's not allowed
Actually,
to
no,
because
that
he can't
wouldn't.
enter the rapid hex.
I'm just trying to understand the rule. He just said the doubling movement. That's all.
Well, if you go with one end of it over and then the other end over as well.
Yeah. Like if he's in column or something, sure.
Yeah, but since he's in 2 hex and if he's moving sideways, it's the same deal.
If
Yeah,
this
yeah.
wasn't there, say that was there, then he could go that way, and you only pay,
It's just a normal. Okay.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah, it's well stated.
So he can't get across the point. He doesn't have enough movement points to do it.
He gets half of them gets across, and then he disorders, and so when you disorder, you got to contract into either, and usually it's your choice.
Right. And
So
so
being
you-
attacked,
then you'd contract into the hex on the other side of the Voina, and he'd be disordered there.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
do that.
So if you're trying to get him out of dodge, that would be what you'd want to do.
Now, do I have the option to go into the hex or am I required to go in?
you are required,
Require.
and you're
Required.
disordered.
Uh,
Or no,
not if I
you're
don't
not.
melee.
You're not
Dave,
disordered. You're not
That's-
disordered.
I think that's the best move is to have him disordered on that side.
Yeah. There's a good chance he'll recover, but
Do, 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 do.
Oh wait, there I'm spinning again. Okay.
Disorder has all facing anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Now, Brennan, does that movement into the hex, that does trigger opportunity, doesn't it?
Yes.
So this gets an opportunity shot.
Well, you didn't retreat into the church hex,
No,
did you?
No, his unit moving from there to there triggers opportunity from there.
Oh. Okay, well that's
So it'd be
interesting.
one. What would be 3 points?
That's
It's
correct.
going to
Yeah.
be half.
Yeah, half 3 to, and it's were they in line or in column going in there? Well, it's still flank if they were in column.
It's whatever their defense is in the. You look at the defense of where they're at or where they started.
Actually, it's where
There's
they
actually fire at me here.
yeah.
Right. So he's going to have a fire defense of 6 if he's in column
7.
there. Oh, 7. 'cause
7
it's
for the village.
village. Okay. So it's 1 to 2.5.
Yeah. So it's a pot shot. It's
Yeah.
a plink, but it's a shot.
You never know.
Oh, that's a
That was
pot shot
definitely a
roll.
plink.
Someone shot at their own man there, I think.
All right, so you have the other assault there.
Yeah. I am moving into your flank, so I don't think you get to actually make the fire, but you get to roll for effective fire for the potential DRM or the shifts or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
you
so
roll
let's
to
take a
close and
look
all
because
that
there's
stuff.
a bunch of stuff, right?
Mitch,
So-
your attacking unit's going to roll to close first.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and do that then.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be modified,
You're a 4 hex.
right? So you've got a -3 for the distance, but you've got a +9 because you outnumber him by. He's only got what, 1 increment, and you've got 4
Yeah.
increments. So that's a +6 altogether. I don't know that there's anything else. The
That's
odds
all.
chart, it's
That's all.
just looking at hexes. Any other modifiers that we're aware of, guys?
Nope.
Okay, so it's just a +6.
That ought to get
Yep,
her
so
done.
they go in. Of -9 for the
Or roll to stand.
roll to stand. And then he's half dead, so
It's actually
that's
-21.
-21.
-21.
Oh, because he's getting hit in the flank as well?
And then for
Minus-
being half, -27. Ouch.
Oh.
Yep.
Survey says-
-27?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
66.
got to be the biggest minus. That's the biggest minus I ever heard.
Impress us, 66.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh,
Oh.
And that eliminates the unit.
he's got.
What's that?
I think that eliminates the unit.
He disorders in the hex.
Oh, he's got 1 step left. No, he disordered.
Yeah, so he doesn't route.
Disorders.
Yeah, so that's what's
Gotcha.
different, kind of thing.
Now he gets defensive fire because after he disordered, he gets defensive fire. Yep.
Right, and so now you guys get to shoot at each other. So now, Mitch, you would shoot at whatever your factor is doubled, right?
He's doubled.
Right. So you're in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he in line or
So
column
that's
there?
in column, so it's 8, so it's 16.
Yeah, 16 to I guess 8 since he's
He's in column.
disordered.
He's a disorder. Well,
Yeah,
no,
so
he
it's a
wasn't
2 to
disordered.
1,
Yeah,
right?
he's disordered.
So roll on the 2 to 1.
Russian column is only 6. Russian column is 6. Russian column is 6 firepower.
Well, a 14, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Then I missed.
All right, and so then Robert's going to fire back.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
He's going to be halved because he's only got 1
I don't
increment
have, I
left,
don't
and
think.
halved again. So he's going to have 2 to 7. So that's not enough to. It's not even 1 to 3 odds.
To
So
do-
he can't fire.
And I don't have for column shifts. I don't have any of those, right?
Correct. So now you
I think
just
you
go
still
ahead
make
and
the
do your numbers.
roll, but it doesn't do anything. But
He didn't stand, so he doesn't get the roll.
Oh,
Oh,
it does-
okay,
the roll
gotcha.
doesn't
Yeah.
stand. Okay.
all right. So now we're in the melee.
Yep. So now
Yeah.
you just do your numbers.
All right, and I am. So I'm a 9.
13. And there's 1 increment left. So what?
A 1/5 of
gonna be like-
13 is 2.
2.
Robert, it's about 3 for you.
So it's a little more
and a
than
half,
2.
3.
So are
Do we
looking
round
at
up
3
or
to
round
1
down,
odds?
or what do we do? Do we round up?
Well,
Hands round
if
up
it's
usually.
if it's 9 to
Okay.
2 point something, it's going to be 3 to 1. Right?
Gotcha. 3 to 1. And is there no DRMs, or
There
some
are no
DRMs?
die roll modifiers since nobody
The
hit each other.
defender is also disordered, so it's halved down from 3. So it's five
Oh.
to 1 because the
Oh,
defender
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
disordered. It's
because
cut in
he's
half.
just okay. So it's a 5 to 1 then. So we just go ahead and roll.
And no DRMs.
No, correct. 44 is a
That's
DR.
DR. So they're dead.
Yes.
But he
I'll
loses
just keep your disorder if you don't mind.
he loses an increment and disappears.
Yeah, so you're going to put him on the French core marker table. And I don't know what
Morale chart.
morale chart. Yeah, French morale chart.
So I put him on the big one, right? With the
No, we're putting him on
No. There's
the
one. You see the French flag
that says 1 core.
says French morale level.
So it's over closer to the left-hand
been
side
putting
of
them-
the tab. So open that up, and you'll see the French morale level track.
Oh, the morale level chart.
And then what core is he
okay.
with? That's Eugene's core. So what core is Eugene's core? 4th core. So then you'd put him
Fourth core.
up here where 4th core is.
Okay, wait. I got some more then. Here's another one. This is there's another one.
It's a party.
Here's another one.
Bring out your dad.
How about the artillery? They all just stay off.
Well, the artillery either
They usually
come back on the
go in the battery box or
Yeah.
back on.
These are ones that were destroyed, so I don't know. Do they go in the battery box?
Yeah, they don't come back.
Okay, those ones don't come back.
No, I'm just
Oh.
saying those are the ones you destroyed. So do they come back?
No, if
Nothing else.
they're the ones that blew up, remember? So they don't come
Right.
back. So it's only the ones that were lost due to plinking away, or if they were attacked by cavalry or whatever, you'd roll to see if they are spiked. If they're spiked, then they never come back. But if they were not spiked, then they would come on. They'd go to the battery box where they could potentially be resurrected.
So they just stay where they are.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got 3 infantry out that are toast at this point from that core. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so they go in that first column there, and when they get
Okay.
to 7, you start putting them in the. Then they're on level. Then that core is on level 1, and they start getting a morale shift, whatever.
Huh, it's
You're fine.
You're fine.
This is why you've
Also,
got more
in
than
this
one
game,
core.
at level 1, the French don't get much of morale loss. So you
Exactly,
can
they don't
fight
care.
hard.
no, but I was just looking on this big chart. The units are supposed to be off the board, right? On the board, not on the chart, but it's for all my units. For the 4th Corps, a lot of them are all
No,
there.
you either have the
the regiment or the battalions, and all the battalions are still here for some reason. Not on the board. I don't know why, but okay.
Yeah, so it could be that the units are I don't know, if they were set up in the setup, they might not have come off of the board. Right? It depends on how the guy who did the module, when he did it,
Mm-hmm.
he might have already put the stuff broken down, but he didn't take it off of this.
Oh, right. We didn't take them off here. I forgot about that. Okay.
Right.
No,
Or
no
you
worries.
could have taken it from the section where you've got French counters. If you take it off of the section where the French counters are, then the ones that are on the order of battle chart are still going to be there.
Make sure that I just didn't stick random counters here. Yeah, I know I did.
All right.
Okay, so
Roll
that was the
for-
assaults.
And stuff.
Are there any other assaults? No, it doesn't look like
Not
it.
yet.
Okay. All right. So then, what do we have? I guess it's recovery phase.
Yep.
So we got to roll for people that are routed first, and then roll for disordered next.
It's actually disorder. It's disorder first.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go ahead and try to roll for this unit here.
Okay. Roll your
55,
dice.
that'll do it.
55. That's pretty good.
That's 41. That should be good for him. Oh, yes.
Oh, should I be rolling for my disordered units?
Yes.
Yeah, so any of them that are not in a zone of influence.
Right, yeah, like these guys can. But these guys here can.
Yep, and the guy that just did the retreat before combat, he can.
Okay, let me roll for these guys. Okay, they're happy.
Happy.
Eric, I removed my tired marker off that one cav unit that sat there.
Oh, okay. Exciting.
And you can face whatever you want after disorder. So,
Right, but you'd be in column.
Oh, and calm.
Yeah,
oh, cavalry comes back in line.
correct. But infantry, I thought he was rolling for his infantry.
Oh no, I was in for my cavalry up here. I just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then they would be in line.
So you might want to face him to face that way.
That way. Them.
Yeah, because
Well, I don't know why, because the cavalry can't go down that severe slope, can they? Or maybe they can.
yeah, but he can come across and come up and hit him in the flank.
Oh, okay.
Who, Brennan? He wouldn't do that. Come on.
Yeah, that's. Well, he
I
can't
learned
charge.
my light cavalry tactics from Rick.
Come on now.
But can you
Doing too
even
much
charge if you're tired? I didn't think you could charge when you're tired.
No, but if he did it the way he was, he could get hit in the flank real easy by somebody coming in
okay.
right there.
Somebody coming over there. Okay.
Yeah. Now at least if somebody comes there, it's at least going to be into his front. He's going to get
Right.
in the flank. He's going to have to come, and he can't charge from brush.
Right. You could charge into the brush, though, right?
He can
Yes.
charge into the brush,
Yeah.
but he can't. That doesn't
And then
help.
he'd be hitting him in the flank anyway.
No, because he's not. He'd have to be charging the unit would have to be in the brush. You can't go through brush to the next text.
Ah, okay. So you could if there was a unit here, you could charge it, but you couldn't charge somebody that's back here.
Right.
Or this guy who's not in the brush, you move into the brush, you can't do it. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Good to
the
know.
rule says into but not through.
Okay.
So you got two more.
Oh, it's okay. I'm still rolling. Okay. So this one here.
31, and it's a minus, so it's going to be a 25. So that should be good enough.
Yeah, they're good.
Or actually 24, I guess. Same difference.
Okay, and we have these guys down here.
They're going to have a -9. They're happy.
Are they?
I don't know. My units all need meds right now, I think.
All right. And then I guess you've got this cavalry unit that got shot. They would disorder or recover.
Okay. Oh, No, no.
Nope, they're still unhappy.
Don't see anything else.
Command phase.
Do you roll for routes now?
Yeah, now we would roll for stuff
If
that's
somebody's
routed.
15 back.
Or they're
Or
stacked.
has the, or stacked with a leader.
So I can roll for these guys over here.
Yep.
Right.
So it's -6 or -3 with the leader. Oh,
all right. And I got
so
this,
they continue to move?
Yep.
Yep.
They continue their route.
Yeah, go ahead.
Their full movement?
Movement and a half.
So 21?
21. They're
And
going
then
for
they're
brush.
Tired. They're tired, so they get 21 half.
So
11.
11. And
they're in brush.
What is brush?
For cavalry, 4.
4, yeah.
4? Yeah, you've been doing a lot of brush stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, he's got it memorized.
So
3
4,
hexes.
8, and that would be it because I think it's only 11. Okay, so those guys, there's no leaders around these guys. So all these disordered units continue their route movement right now?
Yep.
Okay.
So route them like down to
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Robert, that guy may have to move away from this Russian battalion here. Do you want it? You're supposed to get one hex. He may route northwest rather than south.
Okay, so he would have to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, but then he would move into one of my other units.
He can move around.
Where's the closest enemy unit, right?
Was he here or
It'd
was
be
he?
one of these two.
Was he? He was here.
Or this, it'd actually be this disordered unit right here.
Okay, so he's 4 hexes away. His first move has to get him 5 hexes away from that closest unit. First move.
And that's
That's
That's still 4 hexes. Still 4 hexes away.
Well,
So he has to
why don't you
go-
start with this guy over?
Start with this guy then.
Yeah.
So
So where's the closest unit? Yep.
Or start with this one.
5 from here.
So where he just went, that was still 5 hexes away, so he's got to go some other direction.
Basically, you can go this way.
There you go. Now you're clear.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I hate this thing.
So you can, Robert, if you just highlight the stack and you use
Oh,
the
yeah.
arrow key, you can reorder stuff. So if you wanted to get things like the route marker on top, then you just
What?
So if you highlight the stack, so just go ahead and
Expand
loop the
stack.
stack, just
Oh, and then
lasso
oh,
the
and then-
stack, and then press the arrow key, the
Oh,
or
left
yeah,
and
yeah.
right.
Then it
Ah,
just
okay.
yeah. So
I
you don't
didn't
have to
know
like
that.
unstack everything and then restack everything. You just
Oh,
move it.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did not know that. What a cool trick. I've never seen that before, Eric. That's nifty.
yeah.
All right. So then we can move these guys 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But they don't stack together. Okay. And then these guys are cavalry, so they go back 20. And the Boina. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21.
Well, I don't know. You
Except
go into the bush.
they're exhausted. They're exhausted, so they
Oh, it's
go
only
seven.
half.
It's a
Exhausted
third.
third.
Oh, a third?
So yeah. So basically, they're just half of what their movement value is.
Oh, so what that would have been 4, 5, 6, 7? You said it was 7?
So yeah. So
Seven.
7 is their movement value.
Okay. Last but not, let's see. Then we got these guys here.
Well, you might wait. Let's see, because the other one might move forward. Yeah, this one's gonna. You might wait on the cavalry until the infantry moves through first.
Which is fine. So just move the infantry with the cavalry.
Yeah, just move the.
Yeah. Just pretend that you haven't moved the
4,
cavalry
5,
yet.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And these guys have to go. Oh, this is artillery. So they would go.
It probably moves back to the bend in the slope and stops.
Because it can't
There's-
move. It's got to
there's
move
nowhere
like
for
Can't
this.
it
get
to
any
go.
farther away. Can't get
Yeah.
any farther away.
Yeah, I should have put a leader there. I should have put the leader there. Didn't think about that.
You want to say you did?
Well, the question is, in what order did things happen? Did it happen before or after the leader movement phase? So if that unit routed after the
I
leader
don't
movement
remember.
phase, yeah, exactly.
I don't remember when it was. So
Yeah.
no, I'd have to move a leader there next
Yeah.
time.
So next time,
All right.
I rolled for my Moscow militia. They failed, but that's all right. They're getting close to the icon of Smolensk, so they will be happy and just the little.
Brendan, you have one here. I think this cavalry.
He failed. Yeah, he failed.
Oh, he failed.
All right.
All right, morale level determination. I don't think we have anything to worry about there yet.
Well, we don't do that until the end of the 840 turn, right? At the
All
top
right,
of the hour.
cavalry readiness. Is there any cavalry recovering readiness at this
I
point?
didn't move or didn't move more than half.
No, I think most of the stuff that's over on this side all did stuff this turn. Is that correct? Or did we have some stuff that did something the previous turn?
I think the Cossacks did a bunch of stuff last turn.
Okay.
I think
Yes.
so.
So should you put the charge marker, leave the charge marker on top of the ones that charged this turn? So that way then you'd know,
Yeah.
that
Usually the black movement tag is good enough. Usually.
oh, okay. Although it's possible they could have been tired the previous turn and that you moved.
Them half.
Since our turns take several weeks to do, it's probably a good idea to leave those charge markers like that.
Yeah, just put it on top of the unit, and then that way you know, okay, those guys
You
charged
could also
this turn.
you could also do a label on them too.
Yeah,
Yep.
you could put a marker that says. So I mean, at this point in time, what you would do is any of the units that had the charge, any of the units that don't have the charge marker on it, but have a tired or exhausted marker, you would update them. And
You
once
would-
everything's updated, then you would remove the charge
The charge
marker
markers. Yep.
for and that way then you know, okay, the guys that
You could
don't
also
have
do
a
that.
charge
You could also
marker
do
on
that
it.
kind of thing too.
And actually, some of the charge markers have a flipped side to them that you actually do that for. You flip when you're done with the charge, you flip it to the other side.
Where it
That
says
tells you that-
charged or something.
Yeah, These don't. I was just looking at them, but on
Oh.
some of the modules, I've seen that, and then some of the games, they actually are that way too.
Oh,
And
would you
I've-
like something like that?
so,
What would you like it to say?
Yeah. So
But-
right now, yeah,
Because I could add a flip side to a charge marker, no problem.
yeah, you could just add a flip side that says charged, and so it just has that past tense. So it's the
I'll
flip
put
side
some
of the
sort of
charge
thing.
marker is
I'll try to add that as well as a little feature.
yeah, I think I'm wondering if our Linny game has it. One of them I've seen it recently.
Yeah, if you remember what game it is, he could probably just grab the art from that and then makes it
Yep.
easier for him to port.
Either way, yeah. It's even during this, tomorrow, if somebody wants to point me to it, just send me a Facebook message or whatever, or an email. And I'm happy to add that feature.
And we gotten all our tired and exhausted stuff appropriately removed.
Let's see. We've got a couple of people chatting here. Grim Harbinger says, I must admit, I'm curious about La Bataille. Alas, it seems I can't get it here without shipping it in. So I'm not sure where you're at, Grim. Maybe Australia, somewhere like that.
All right.
There might be able to get a copy out in Australia. Maybe there's somebody that's got one that's it's up on Australian eBay. That's always a possibility. I know usually the sending the games to Europe, you've got that value added tax. That's pretty. Oh, he's in the UK. Yeah, so the value added tax into places in Europe makes it pretty darn pricey. Plus the shipping is ridiculous. I sent something. Oh well, there was a fellow I bought something from. He was in Germany, but he was I think he was a U.S. serviceman or something like that. So he was able to ship it, and then it was shipped as if it was coming from Chicago. It was kind of interesting what they have for the servicemen, so the shipping isn't as painful. But
the
Grim
Valkyrie
Harbinger,
from
I
Norway.
would check. There's people on like the Consim forum, Consim Marketplace on Facebook that are selling stuff that are in Europe. And then if you go to eBay in the UK, there's from time to time there'll be people that are in the UK that are selling a La Bataille game, an older La Bataille game or whatnot. So you might be able to get something from somebody who's already there, who's selling part of their collection. So that's what I would check.
There's always Vassal too. That's not necessarily the same. But
Yeah, that's
you can do
true.
it.
Yeah, you can play on Vassal. So
Okay,
yeah, if you
because-
haven't already joined the Discord channel, send me a note in the comments section after the video feedback or on any of my videos, and I'll send you an invite to the Discord channel. And then you can always post say, hey, I'm in the UK. I'm looking for someone to play, Vassal La Bataille. And we've got, I don't know, over 100 people in the Discord channel. So I know there's a handful of folks in Europe. So there might be somebody in your time zone that can play.
Of course, you could send airline tickets. You'd bring a copy over personally.
Yes. If you want to fly one of us or one or more of us, we might need to escort that game,
No, we just have to show up to teach you how to play.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Exactly. I
That's
like
it.
that.
A little bit of room and board to go with that.
Exactly.
Mitch, the Linny game has the reverse side counters for the charge.
Okay, I'll take a look.
And I like the charge counter. The look of the charge counters better too. That they're kind of more like the assault ones here, where it has the direction of the charge and everything like that.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll just modify the whole thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
yeah.
There you go. It's good to have a programmer on board.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll just
Somebody want to hit the move button and turn off the moves?
All right. Artillery resupply, remove the wrecks, administrative march completion, and housekeeping. So housekeeping is part of the move.
so is that advancing the clock?
Yep.
Okay, so we're at the 8:40 turn. All right, exciting stuff.
I've got another hour or two if people do. Otherwise, we can.
I can play, so I don't
I can
know.
play on.
Yeah, because we're about. I mean, normally we start at 7, so or thereabouts. So we're about an hour in.
We can definitely get our MUs on the board. Let's get that done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could
All
do that.
right. So I think the first thing I need to do is random event.
We jump down to coalition headquarters.
Yep.
So we're at 41.
All right.
So go to French HQ. So
Do.
Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen.
Doesn't matter. We'll get them next time around.
Gotcha.
If the chit sequence had been different, we would have swept them all, but they got out. Yep.
I'm going to roll for our command and see what we get. A 62, and that's probably releasing guns. So, not anything exciting. All right, but just a usual, I think, single. Yeah. So it's just another command point. So we've got our usual 6 command points.
I will say those guns that Eric is having to suffer under are pretty bad. I don't know if there's a good plan to sort of counter that, but that would be nice.
I mean, we can't do much other than just pull back. So
The key thing is to pull back. You don't actually need infantry or pickets that close to the guns. The squares can be the forward picket line,
right,
and the next line of pickets doesn't have to be till 5 hexes, 6 hexes back from the squares, because all you have to do is if a square gets knocked out, you take the next infantry battalion on the queue and it runs forward and occupies the
right.
ravine again. And anybody who's between the ravine and actually 5 or 6 hexes back, it's actually taking unnecessary hits. Go
Right.
for cavalry, for instance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can move that cavalry unit back, so at least it's not going to be lined up as easily. I'm sure he can find another target and try to do some silly stuff, but it is what it is.
The French artillery fire is just going to intensify there, so you definitely want to fade that back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I kept hearing 5 to 1 and stuff, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, that's because he's got all those guard guns. So it's 7.
That's why they're so beefy, because they're
7
guard guns.
plus.
It's like, why are they so huge?
So he's got 14 plus, looks like 18. Yeah. So he's got. Am I right?
32 at range.
There's 2 parts of our solution to that. The first one is to
18,
pull
yeah,
our
14.
pickets back, like the front pickets, the squares and everything are okay. Eric, you can decide if you want those skirmishers out in front of the squares, but if you don't even need them out there, and you can pull them back too. So part of our defense against that heavy metal is the mid zone fades back till it's 5 or 6 hexes back from the ravine.
Right.
And then the other part of our defense is if those French heavy cannons creep forward like one more hex to their left,
Yeah.
or two hexes, they're going to come into range of our heavy guns, and then we're going to do to them the same thing that we did to the first group of French heavy guns, which is
Now
bring
that's
up more
interesting, though.
battery
Those
guns.
guns cannot really creep much forward because they can't creep over the
They can't cross the thing.
Slope.
So he can slide them, as Brennan said, he can slide them one hex to the northwest. But that they can't really do anything else at this point because they're kind of they're on the edge of the
and if
gully.
they drop into the ravine, then they can't even shoot.
Well, yeah, but they can't prolong into it. So
Yeah.
you'd have to limber them up and then move them and all that jazz. So
Their next position is that little nose that's just on the other side of their current ravine. And once they get up on that little nose, what's going to happen then is they're actually going to end up in range of Eric's Kutaisov battery, which can kind of creep their way, and also, Mitch, of your 6-core battery, which fairly soon, after you run out of ammo, like you can shoot for 2 more turns where you're at, and then you're going to limber up and move around behind the Great Redoubt like we talked about, and then you're going to come in and have counter battery leverage against them.
Mm-hmm.
And also your guard's heavy batteries, which are currently trying to plink his little gun. You're gonna move slowly west and south, 1 hex per turn, and by the time the French heavy guns get around that ravine onto the nose, you're actually gonna be pretty much in counter battery range from the northwest, and we're gonna get the same effect we had last time, which is maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of our grand batteries converging against one of his.
Yeah, if we get that going, we'll be in good shape. I like that. Mm-hmm.
That's the plan, basically. And if the French move their heavy artillery altogether, they're much more dangerous. But if they move only one of their heavy batteries, like that corner to that nose at a time, then they're getting firepower against us, but they're actually exposing their wing to 2x or 4x firepower from us against them, which we like.
Mm-hmm.
all right, well that's better than a poke in the eye.
Let's talk about who needs command.
Well, I'm going to need a core out on my far end to get everybody kind of in the new position that we discussed in the last setting. So that's going to be the, the 3rd Corps is going to get a command. And then if you want me repositioning those cavalry so they're not sitting ducks, I would need a command for the division.
That's important that you do that. So I guess you get 2.
Yeah.
And then Eric, you can roll for your Cossacks to see if they're active.
And then I can roll for my light cavalry commander as well. So, okay. Cool. What else do you guys want to do?
Mitch, you have a light cavalry commander, Dorokhov, who's just behind the Great Redoubt.
Yep, I slipped him
Why
around
don't
that side.
You want to take a roll for him?
Oh, sure. I need a 3.
Yep.
I got a 6.
Okay, no luck. That's all right. That's not critical. It's useful for repositioning. It's not crucial for fighting.
Yep. If I want to move Doktorov around and get some reposition on the remainder of the French around Borodino, I would need one for Doktorov. Otherwise, then the next question is whether or not we want to move these guard cavalry yet again this turn.
So the guard cavalry are now part of the guard corps. And so you should use your core MU to command Lavrov.
Okay.
And that gives you the guard infantry and the guard cavalry, which is really
And do you see him?
Lavrov is here.
Lavrov is here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, okay, so he's already got one. They'll stay
Yeah.
Russian 6.
And his cavalry commander is here, so they're all in range.
Nice. Okay, so I can get rid of that 5.
That's right. So
Yeah.
you're taking 6, and then the question for Dakhturov, his units can actually kedge their way. Like the 7th Division, remember, is kedging over to R4C. So you can kedge them from now on until they get there.
That's fine.
The question
So
is
just-
26th Division or 24th Division. I think they've done their job. Let's look and see if they need to fight much more.
He
'Cause
can't,
I have-
this unit can he can reface, right?
Yeah,
Even without an MU?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the only thing I really need to do is reface him. The other question is whether or not I wanted to bring these guys forward into some sort of action. But I
their
don't see
main
that.
job is to fall back behind the Great Redoubt, or because they're swapping places with your guards infantry. So you actually need to clear them out.
Okay, it might kind of a little bit depend on the order of events, but I do have a
Yeah.
path through here. You know, I've
That's
been
right.
trying to maintain as best I can. Although I had to bring this artillery up into here, unfortunately.
You could even kedge the 24th Division northeast for a while, up to
Oh,
here.
kind of bring all the way, just kind of a pull him back off the line altogether and let him kind of reform.
Exactly, because they have a lot of battalions scattered everywhere. So you actually
Mm-hmm.
want them up here to reform. And then you're going to, by pulling them northeast, you're going to make space for the Guards infantry and the Guards cavalry to come full west through Borodino, take over their position, and then prepare to assault Eugene.
Oh, and I did bring Rosen up here so that I could catch these guys up.
Exactly. They'll catch up in a little while. They're fast. So what you're looking to do with the Guards, Mitch, you want the Guards horse artillery, you want the Guards foot artillery, the 2.6s. You want this foot artillery to end up here. It
Okay.
can come down, and you want the Guards horse artillery to end up here.
So who should I put them under command?
Well, they're under Lavrov.
Okay.
And so your horse artillery is going to get like here, and then it can prolong its way down. What you're trying to do is get so much artillery down in the valley that his little blue guys and his tiny little horse battery on the point are just going to overwhelm it.
Okay.
And the reason you're doing that with the artillery is so that the Guards infantry, over the course of about 2, 3, 4 turns, they're going to come through Borodino village, go past the duck pond.
So
then
Boris
they're
is
gonna-
going to kind of go through here and kind of get in there. Is that the path?
Well,
Or is-
Borodin wants to be here by the word
Okay.
Voina. And the
Okay.
reason the Guard cavalry is going there is that all the rest of the Russian cavalry is coming down from the other side.
Okay, so
So
I'll have to
you're
keep
gonna
things
get
within. I'll have to keep things within 3, or can I be within 6 of
Well,
Borisden?
the cavalry's got to be within 3 of Borisden. He's a divisional commander.
Okay.
And then
But
Borisden
Borodin can be within 6 of Lavrov.
Oh, okay. But these two, this gun and this gun, belong to Borisden.
Yes. And this one
and they're
also.
both and they're all in command
Okay.
because Borisden's right here.
What's going to happen in the medium term because Borisden is going to move west through Borodino village, past the church. The 4th Corps is going to free up the church. By the time the Guards cavalry gets near it, the church will probably be taken. And then you're going to move along here, and you're going to set up the Guards cavalry about like here we'll suppress their artillery by then. And your job is to use the beautiful cuirassiers to bring heavy cavalry against his light cavalry. Because we're going to be pressing his light cavalry downward from the north with all the rest of the
Now, one
Russian
thing I was
cavalry.
noticing, the only way to assault the church is from this side, right?
No, from the
no.
ball.
Doesn't have like a door on it. Isn't
No,
that the rule?
that's. I think that's in some of the other Clash of Arms. I don't recall that being
Linear,
part of
yeah.
Moscow.
Yeah,
That's something that's
assaultable from
like
all directions.
in Mont Saint Jean.
Okay.
They've got that where you have to attack through
So if it
the door.
okay, so it can be assaulted from any side. All right.
Correct.
Which you're going to have to kind of assault it to take it, right? Because you just can't. You're just going to spend all freaking day shooting at it.
I'm gonna soften it with artillery, and
Oh, that
then
might help.
yeah, if we need to, your guards infantry can assault it as they come through, but you probably won't have to.
Okay.
We may clear it by then. If not, you can deploy musketry against it with your ×4 guards, and they'll do fine. Because I'll be shooting artillery from the north. Like we'll get rid of the church relatively quick.
Now these guys would have to have an NU to launch an assault, right? And so they don't.
That's going to be your guards. That's Lavrov's going to do that assault.
Okay, because these guys are going to. Okay, got it.
That guy's catching out of there.
So technically speaking, Doktorov doesn't need a command on MU.
He does not. This turn, he does not.
All right, so I'm going to pull this back over here in these brash if somebody wants to grab it. I'll stick with 6.
That's good. Okay, so that's one free that we'll figure out what to do with. So I need one for the 4th Corps. And I could certainly use one for the Cavalry Corps for Uvarov's 1st Cav.
It makes sense to me.
I have a lot of other good cavalry units, but they're not actually lined up yet. It's going to take them another turn to approach. But I think, let me look.
It has been interesting, as effective as your cavalry is, it is fairly weak stuff.
Got to wait for the timing. And the timing is good. It's awesome. Yep.
So I'd say take what you need, Brennan, from what we got left.
Yeah, we may be able to give it to Eric or somebody down in the Far East. Let's see. So I got 4th Corps and I got 1st Cav.
That brings us up to what, 5?
Well,
Wow,
and
we got
both of
one
my
more.
light cavalry leaders passed.
Okay. Let me find something to do with that.
I mean, if you wanted me to move these guys that are here getting pounded, the 12th Division, I can pull back the skirmishers that are there. I can pull back
That's
these
a good. Let's
squares
do
that are
that.
there.
You should get an MU to do that. Why don't you
Okay,
do that?
yeah. So that's just a division. So that's just one for the 12th Division. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's a
bring the
move
2
that
down,
hasn't
too.
been used? So which moves?
That 2 is there.
Number 2. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Thanks. We'll put number 2 there. So we hope that we get it before they shoot us, before they get their cannon.
Or before they get the artillery check.
Yeah.
I think that adds a really great dynamic to the game, frankly. The artillery check.
Yeah.
These things work for me.
All right. So then,
Yeah.
so I've
Yep,
got
go ahead.
3, and what, you have 1, Mitch?
Yep.
Okay. And then Brennan,
It's a
you've
big one.
got 2 plus
I've got 2.
Karpov or Platov. Okay.
Platov.
All right. And then my 2 light cavalry passed. So we should have 6, 7, 8, 9 chits in the cup. Did you have any other light cavalry leaders that you could roll for, Brennan?
No.
Okay. And Mitch, you failed yours
Oh.
with the other guys. So,
Yeah. So let's just go through. Let's put them in one at a time.
so
We've
let's
got,
see.
We have 1. 1 goes in.
Right. So so let's just stack them up first. So number 1 is who's got chit number 1? Is that your guy?
That is Brennan's Uvarov.
First
Uvarov.
Cav. First
Okay.
Cav. Yep.
All right. And then Number 2 is the 12th Division. Number 3 is the 3rd Corps. Number 4 is, I presume, the 4th Corps.
I don't see a 4 on the thing, so I need a 4.
There's a 4 in the
Oh, I
in
see
the
it
cup
now. I
bin.
apologize.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Number 5. I don't know if there's a number 5 on the map. I don't have a number 5.
I'm gonna delete. I'm gonna put that.
Just
in
put it down in the
menu.
unused. Yeah. Number 6. That's Lavrov.
Yeah.
Okay. Then number 12 is the 12th Cavalry Brigade. 13 is my other light cavalry brigade, and then 14 is Karpov, and then 15 is Platov, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that makes sense, right? Because we had 3 light cavalry activations plus our usual. Okay, so that adds up. So we can drop them into the cup now, along with the informational markers. Cool.
Beautiful.
All right.
Yeah, overall, I think the early turns have gone nicely. I mean, it's going to get heavy for Eric in a while, but it won't happen right away. And then we can watch how the center develops. The main thing is to clear out of the range of that heavy artillery and gradually build up artillery counter battery capability against it.
I know
Right.
it's a big thing in what I'm going to say, but it's to the extent that we can make this right hook on them, we start bringing in the possibility of cutting artillery off from reloads.
Yeah, that's the plan. In over the course of 3 hours or more, we're planning
Yeah.
to. The way we achieve that is by using our combat units to kill as many of their combat units as possible. And then what will happen is they'll get so thin that they won't be able to even defend that, and we'll just send a Cossack patrol to clip it.
Yeah.
What that does is it focuses our fighting on fighting their units, not thinking about terrain. Terrain is irrelevant. We're trying to kill units in this game.
But I was surprised that they didn't move those cannons west of Alkensky much, if anything.
They're coming up the road. It's hard to know exactly what their plan is with those. If they move heavy artillery up to support Eugene, it's likely not to be enough. And they're likely to end up going down in defeat and getting swept away as we gradually sweep Eugene away. It's quite likely that will happen.
I've got to think that's their attempt to come up to New Smolensk Road and support those guys.
Well, they've got Lauriston over here, and so they've been kedging those guns towards Lauriston, and he's over there by.
Which is all very.
Yeah, so that's
all very nice, but it's not going to prove to be enough. What's going to happen is they're going to be fighting with 3 heavy batteries against a whole lot of our stuff coming over from Borodino, so we're likely to overwhelm them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the best he could do would be to send the Junot's Corps, but that's not a whole lot of stuff, and most of it's foreign from the looks of it.
They're actually elite foreign, like they're ×4. They're pretty good.
Oh, okay.
But they're small. Yep. Our main thing is to be gradual and not overly aggressive. Be over the medium term extremely aggressive, but in a tactical sense, be gradual and use our firepower and artillery to hit the targets on the front fringe.
So the Westphalian line.
Are these the white ones?
Yeah, the Westphalian line is ×4. Wow, that's pretty good. You're not joking.
Yep, they're
And those are
quite
all
good, but
regiment.
Yeah, those are
Big,
some decent
and they're
size
small.
regiments too.
Yep, they're small though compared to what we're bringing their way, including the Russian Guard and everything.
Yeah.
So if they come into what we're trying to do is wherever the French are committing to action on the French left or right, we're trying to bring 3 times more of everything at the point of action.
Right.
Like if they decide they want to defend, Eugene up there, if they bring 3 heavy artillery batteries, we're going to bring 8 heavy artillery batteries, kind of thing.
Right.
And if they bring 2 infantry divisions, we're going to bring 6 infantry divisions,
Right.
and so on. And we have the momentum underway to make that happen.
Right.
The cavalry is the next start point. The trade-off that we have to make is that when the French come your way, Eric, you got to hold them.
Yes. Yes. So that's where, fortunately, out there on the far edge of the universe, we've got the terrain helping, but at some point in time here, it's going to get a little dicey. So
Yeah, because he's got more mass than you do. That's for sure.
he does, but he's got to get a lot of it there, and so
With like another hour and a half, maybe he'll be engaged with you.
well, it's going to take him. The guys that are trying to come through the woods and the brush, it's going to take them something like 2 hours to get through that with my skirmish cavalry and everything else.
Oh, true. I forgot about the skirmish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if he decides to kind of bypass that and go through the Bagration fletches, then he can start putting pressure on me earlier. But then, of course, he's going to get chewed up by my artillery in the process.
And he's got to also keep that
And he's
thing
walking
fairly
into the
unified and all in
artillery.
command.
What's that? Yeah, and he's got to try to keep everyone in command, and so that will be that's the trick. I mean, Napoleon, they can cover, if you think about it, 15 hexes out to the furthest corps commander, and then the corps commander getting another 6 hexes out, so he can cover command-wise 42 hexes, a 42 hex front. And then if you add in the, divisional commander, 3 more for the divisional commander, so that's going to be what? That's 48 hex front. So that's pretty much from the Kamensky Woods to the eastern map edge practically.
Yeah.
So they can hit all of that, and we can only respond in dribs and drabs. And so that's what I suspect they're going to try to do, is just kind of out-command us by virtue of being able to activate
weakness of
more
that
stuff.
for them is that it leaves their left flank floating.
Yeah.
And the left flank happens to be where our main push seems to be arriving. So that will be interesting.
Yeah. So, but
Mitch, there is a short-term minor threat you have to keep alert for, which is that you have 2 of our wonderful grand batteries crawling forward of the Great Redoubt, which they're doing a good job of. But the French are now starting to arrive with some light cavalry, and not this turn, but in a couple of turns, they may get there with some heavy cavalry. And at that point, those grand batteries become potentially vulnerable to a suicide rush by their light cav. So just keep your eyes open for it.
Mm-hmm.
Next turn, we probably want to be giving Dorokhov an MU so that you can reposition his escort cavalry to prevent that. And in the meantime, this turn, you have, if they do try it this turn, you have the Guards Cav division, which will go chew up whatever tries it. But
yeah, I did try to position them so I had some lanes, you know what I mean, left over.
Exactly. And you'll just keep an eye open to be sure you're constantly doing
And,
that.
and I've got a little bit of an angle, around that way too.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's
One
not
other
ideal,
thing,
but I've got something.
exactly. Another little note is that Euler's grand battery, you may, when you prolong it this turn, you may want to open up the back end of the Ognik ravine so that the guards' horse artillery can gallop down the ravine. And
Flash me real
so
quick what you're talking about. You're talking about here?
here,
Yeah.
and what we're saying is that grand battery may need to split up this turn or even backpedal or something, because you pretty much definitely want to open up that pathway so that the guns can go through it.
I see what you're saying.
Your alternative is going to be to bring the guns down over the slope here on the backside, but that's slow. You want to get the guns up towards the bend of the Kalachar River, maybe not this turn, but next turn. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Probably
Well,
not this turn.
isn't that the
this
battery
turn,
that's supposed to come around over to where R12 is, or over to the other side of the Great
after it
Redoubt?
finishes its ammo. After it finishes its using its ammo.
Oh, okay. Well, you want to keep at least one. Don't fire them all. Otherwise, you have no
Well,
defensive fire.
You have to go to 0 to get the reload.
No, you
You get
don't.
reloaded.
You don't have to go to 0 to get the reload. You just have to be limbered, and then you could roll to reload. You don't have to run out all of your ammunition before you can reload.
Oh, that's super. Oh, that's great.
I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't make any sense that you would do that, but
The reason in the rules for doing that, it would just be to intentionally, mechanically create necessary pauses.
right. Well, you're going to have a pause because you have to limber your guns. So for 20 minutes, those guns can't fire, and then you've got to see if you can roll a 5 or a 6 to get them to reload, and then you've got to unlimber them the next turn. So they're going to be, even if you're lucky, they're going to be out for at least 20 minutes, maybe longer, depending on how long it takes to reload them.
Eric, it actually says you do have to run it down to 0.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're doing that in order to create intentional pauses of artillery fire in the game, like mandatory pauses.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. Because I would have thought you would have gotten the pause anyway, because you have to limber before you can.
And so it's a worse pause. So you definitely want, Mitch, you definitely want the.
So then you're going to need somebody
yeah.
to cover them while you are
That's right.
limbered. Otherwise, they're
Reload.
sitting ducks. Yeah.
That's right. So, and that's Dorokov's job. Mitch, as I think about the timing, I think you can actually, let's see, 2, 4. You actually can bring the Borozdin horse artillery this turn down into the back part of the Stonyats, and then next turn it's going to be able to rush up and unlimber and start fighting. So you don't actually need to make a hole in the grand battery this turn. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay. So I'll roll the. I got you.
Yeah, they're going to roll back up to here-ish.
And they'll go through the leader hex. I got you.
Yeah. And then the guards cavalry, you want to watch and see their enemy is artillery. You don't want to expose them to artillery fire unnecessarily. So do you see where the 24th Infantry Battalions are at the moment? Here and here.
Yes.
You're going to want those guys to pull up to the northeast, because those are the hexes that you want the guards cavalry to get into.
And we're going to just have to hope that we get the leader chip pulled first so that I can catch him back.
Exactly. And if not, then you can have the guards cavalry just wait for a turn, kind of like where it is, more or less. It's okay where it is. Also, just so you guys know what's happening, I've freed up the road. And so this turn, there's a lot of support artillery that's going to be racing down the road and getting through the village and heading up onto the plateau past Bordino.
Oh, okay.
That's where that's all going.
Is it going to cross through Borodino?
The horse artillery go through the village, and the other batteries are going to use those little wooden bridges north of it.
Okay.
Like the reason those bridges are there is to permit exactly what's about to happen, which is the Russian artillery to cross en masse if you need it. And they didn't use it in the historical battle, but in our game in this case, we're actually going to use them all those bridges, which is fun.
And the little bridges were actually built by the French, weren't they?
The French have the similar type of bridges further south. These were Russian bridges.
Oh, these were built by Russians. Okay. It's not every
Because
bridge over the.
the Russians had them as part of the defensive position. Like the defensive position had all these flèches and redoubts, but it also had those bridges to enable the thing that we're doing now if it happened that way. Only it didn't, so they didn't use them. But we're going to take advantage of that for mobility to swing our right wing that way. So we're going to use the bridges. I think we're probably good, more or less.
You know, just a quick question. I mean, at some point, well, tell me a little bit about what, I guess they're not going to move this turn, the Yermolov, and he's not moving this turn.
Yermolov is controlled by Lavrov.
Oh, he is. Oh, that's okay.
And so they're going to keep moving west and south.
Okay.
So they can actually move probably downward and spread. You got to leave a gap for the cavalry to come through. So they probably just move southwest, you know, 1 hex this turn.
As a,
And
as a whole, as a triangle.
Yeah, they have 2 missions. Their number 1 mission is if the French heavy guns move forward around that ravine and onto that next point, your number 1 mission is flanking counter battery against them. And if you count the hexes, you'll see you'll be able to do that.
Okay.
And your number 2 mission, depending on how things develop, is to, if the French don't do that, like the counter battery mission is number 1 mission, but until we knock out the 12 pounders. But your second mission is to keep moving to the west and
start supporting the firearms with the
exactly
or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. But your number 1 mission is to stay safe from the front with help from your Leica, and to get ready for counter battery down against that French 12 pounder battery.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yep. Fun. Lobby.
Yep.
Lobby.
They may be a while.
I would suspect as much.
They have a lot of MUs.
Yeah.
And we've given them a lot to think about.
Yes.
I was a little bit surprised he didn't charge you with your Cossacks, because he's probably got better cavalry of those green ones, I'm suspecting.
On the French left wing,
Mm-hmm.
they were doing something which is appropriate for scouts on a far wing, but which left them in difficult shape for a big fight, which is that they've been relying on their light cavalry morales to try to get their light cav to move, and they keep failing them.
Oh, they're flashing some of my stuff.
Yep. I think they're going to try to charge your guys.
Aren't you glad you have the guards cuirassiers waiting there?
Yeah. And I'm glad I positioned those that 14, 15 right there as well.
Yeah.
In the early going, depending on what happens, you know, your pre-positioning is a little bit weak, but after Lavrov has a chance to move, if it does look like they're threatening or whatever, you can position the guards cuirassiers, the guards 5 regiments, they can go forward of the battery into the ravine.
Mm-hmm.
That is like directly in front of Euler. You could even, and then the guns can backpedal. Oh, do they have an MU this turn? They don't have an MU.
They don't.
Oh, okay. So they're okay, but they're in a good spot. Like we if they make a suicidal charge, they do, you weren't entirely set up for that, but you're pretty good for it even in any case. And if you get a movement first by the Guards cavalry, if you get your Guards white regiments into those two ravine hexes in front of the guns,
I'll be in good shape.
you should by and large be in good shape.
Ooh.
That will be a bit of suicidal gesture if they do that.
But then you wouldn't be able to fire the
They are a
guns,
little
would
cramped
you?
for space, that's for sure.
Doesn't matter. The gun's first job is to stay alive, so it
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
matter.
Yeah, because he's got what is it? Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff. So
And they have a lot of light cav of different kinds, but relatively suicidal if they try it. What they don't have is heavy cav.
yeah, no, they've only got one division of heavy cav on this side of the map.
Yep, they've committed really heavy to the right. So at worst, they'll make this one suicidal charge, and we'll
Maybe we'll take a lump. Something bad might happen, but it won't be at the end of the day.
It won't. Another dangerous point would be after you've used up all your ammo. When you limber and pull out, you're definitely going to need cav coverage, probably by Dorothea. When you do that, the other thing you can do, another thing you can do to block a cav charge, the skirmishers that you have active this turn are the Guards skirmishers. That's the Finland Jaeger, then the Guards Jaeger. They're fast, and you can actually throw.
Yeah, point them out for me.
There's 9s, 6, 9. They're these guys.
Okay.
Yep. And these, and you can put them in skirmish mode and throw them out in front of the guns since you don't have enough cavalry, and they could get killed, but it's a worthwhile sacrifice if it knocks out, if it prevents them from rushing the guns.
Wouldn't they be able to form square potentially, or?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Can they do a what's it square? But the reason for the skirmisher is the total block as opposed to a firepower block.
Yeah, the squares won't stop the cavalry.
If the cav has blood on their minds, they'll go through the squares and go for the guns. But your battalions could make life hard for them doing that. So I think what you're looking at is, maybe a network, a checkerboard of squares out forward of the guns, if that happens.
In skirmish formation.
Maybe squares, like Eric is saying.
Okay.
He doesn't seem to have a whole lot of artillery around. You could try squares, let the firepower do some work, kind of thing, and that'll make it hard for them if they fight. It will make them think twice for sure.
Yeah, because I've got some big regiments coming up that can break down. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
They need a bit of a path, but I think I can go through the guns and so forth, so it's not like they're completely, once I break them down.
Exactly.
And they'll come out in columns, so they'll be able to move at a pretty good pace.
Exactly.
And if they're not being forced to form square, they can just do it automatically, right?
Yes, cost a movement point, but guess them. So you could be looking at a checkerboard of squares, and you don't need them very far in front of the guns, just like a bit in front of the guns. You push them too far, as far as that road there, you could conceivably end up under artillery fire.
Nice.
Like you pretty much want to run the square checkerboard parallel to that road, but north of it.
Mm-hmm. All the way out to this point, you think, or just here?
Where you just showed is good enough because you have other infantry down below, right?
Mm-hmm. And for right now, I'm kind of running out of targets this direction for those guns anyway.
Exactly. Like if their cavalry still, like you pull the artillery shit early or something, then we can definitely give them more stuff to think about. And their other target is that light horse battery on the point. It's a lousy target, but it's better than nothing.
It is a
And you're
target.
definitely, you're trying to use up all your ammo and then limber and leave. Is what you're gonna do. So you're looking for a target, any target, really.
Yeah, just to shoot that stuff up and get
Just
into the
shoot it
reload
out.
situation.
Exactly. And then you want cav and infantry coverage at that pivotal moment when you ran out of ammo. You definitely want the cav ahead of you when that moment comes.
Mhm.
But you're probably in a really good position for a sufficiently good position for this time.
It could get a little exciting, some spiciness to the action. It'll be fun.
Exactly.
So if
Yeah,
we
it
were
would be
using
fun.
wagons instead, then when you could have one wagon serving multiple batteries, right?
Yep.
And then when that wagon gets used up, well, you've got another wagon that's there, and then that other wagon then materializes potentially on your supply line and then goes whittling along.
Yeah, but they take up all that space. Can you imagine trying to put artillery wagons in that mess of shit I got right now?
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone
be
would
like,
have the
wow.
same issue, right? We'd all be looking at that. But that's how that would work. Okay.
Then you get continuous fire. I also looked up, Mitch, you had that super idea a week or two ago of reloading within the Rayevsky Redoubt. You actually can't do that because when you're in the redoubt, it doesn't reload your ammo. You just don't spend any more ammo. So it
Oh,
doesn't
but if
help
you had
you.
zero ammo, you'd have them.
If you had zero ammo, it would reboot you. Yeah.
You could just fire with zero ammo.
That's right. Yep.
Well, but how could you fire with zero ammo if you have zero
Because the
ammo?
Great Redoubt has ammo.
No. But if you had one ammo left and you're in the Great Redoubt,
Probably one. You need one, probably.
Yeah.
You need one.
Yeah. So
I thought maybe the rule reads you don't use ammo.
That's what it says, right? You don't use it.
Zero.
right. So if you have zero ammo, you've got zero ammo.
You got
You
zero
don't use
ammo, you
ammo.
can do it.
Yeah, and you can't fire if you got zero ammo.
It will be interesting. Like if they try the cavalry rush, I mean, people do that, but it usually doesn't work very well straight into the heavy guns. It like maybe they'll get a few of them, but that's a trade that's almost probably worth it, you know?
Yeah, if we can knock out significant amounts of cavalry at the expense of a couple guns, it doesn't seem like that's a bad calculation.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, so it's interesting here. It says, if an artillery unit in the Great Redoubt consumes all of its ammunition and a path of Russian depot hexes is not established, then the artillery is treated as any other battery which is out of ammunition. So that I guess that means that if the artillery is out of ammunition, but there's still a path of supply, then they'd still be able to fire. It's only if then you're cut off from the path of supply.
So that could be an option, and they could do their reload from the Great Redoubt.
Well,
so
you
just for, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you go ahead, Brandon.
For interest, in terms like what we're seeing on the French side is a deep right hook, and various other things happening elsewhere on the line. I mean, the heavy French artillery coming up, that's always scary and so on. But
is there a distance I have to be from a road to reload?
5.
Okay, so I'll have to. Oh, so we have as long as we control the new Smolensk, we're in pretty good shape.
That's right. And if not, then you have to fall back.
Which is significant. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, that might happen, but we'd like to have it happen after you get your first reload.
Exactly.
You're basically expecting to reload maybe 2 to 3 to 4 times during the game. In terms of like what we're seeing from the French, what they've actually kind of done, they've made a really deep right hook, which could still cause a lot of trouble. We'll see when the mass arrives. But in terms of like what actually works intensively for the French, the way these guys are playing, it's not actually all that effective of a French strategy. What does work as the French strategy is to look really closely at the French advantages in this game and try to maximize them. And I don't think they've really done that. The French advantages are maneuver, because they have so many more MUs.
Right.
And they're heavy. Another advantage is that their cavalry corps are very, very powerful and very command efficient.
Yes.
Our cavalry is very expensive, command inefficient. So the French have a very strong command and quality advantage in cavalry
Yes.
if it's used in a concentrated form. Another major advantage that the French have is vast numbers of very fast horse artillery.
Yeah.
And what actually does work as the French, from a strategy point of view, like most parts of the map are very good defensive terrain for the Russians, but there's a weak spot in the terrain because of lines of sight and stuff that goes right about where Lowenstern's battery is now.
Right.
And what works is for the French to use the Moscowa Grand Battery command rule, which lets a special artillery leader not just add firepower, but add command ability to artillery.
Right.
And they have 4 of these leaders. So what actually works for the French is to build 2 grand batteries of all their long range artillery and of firing for firepower, like Napoleon
Right.
and maybe Soviet. And what works is to take their other 2 grand battery leaders and they make flying wedges, like Walter Payton style flying wedge,
Right.
out of their horse artillery. And they use it like Eric did in the Austerlitz game, which it's like times 8 bigger.
Yeah.
And then because they can use 1 CP to command like 20 horse artillery batteries. And then they drive them through the brush where Eric Little Jaeger is. They drive them slowly through the brush, but the French artillery is fast enough to get 1 hex per turn.
So my
And because
question is
Yeah.
how do you get that many batteries under 1 CP? I don't.
The Moscow special rule is an artillery special leader can command all batteries within 3 hexes.
Oh, okay. So now, okay. Because otherwise I'm thinking, well, that's only 3 hexes worth of guys. No, but that's potentially, well, you've
20
got,
hexes worth.
yeah, that's a huge, big
And
lump of stuff. Yeah.
You make a flying wedge with 3 hexes in front and 2 wings of 3 each. Now you've got 10 hexes of horse artillery, and you have enough batteries to do it. You have enough batteries to get like 1.5 or 2 of these Klingon flying wedges. And they push through because they can absolutely mow down anything in their path, including the Russian heavy artillery.
Right.
So you rush them up to short range, not even medium range. You find them at short range with high firepower, and they sacrifice a lot of their horse artillery batteries.
Right.
But they just scythe down anything in front of them.
Yeah.
That gets a breakthrough, and then you follow it not with 1 reserve cavalry corps, but with all 4 of them together, all 4 of them.
Right.
And the way you do it is you're charging.
It's almost like blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're charging 2 heavy cavalry corps each turn, and then on the off turn, the other 2 rest. So you're alternating heavy cav corps 1 and 2, heavy cavs 3 and 4, heavy cavs 1 and 2. So you have full heavy cavalry corps charging every turn, 2 of them.
Right.
And
Then
with
you
the
follow
cavalry
that.
rules, you're going to be able to pull them back too.
Right. Exactly. And then you follow that with the Imperial Guard making old guard charges. And they melee only disordered units, and they chase away, the guard chases away all the disordered units.
Right.
And then the regular infantry just occupies ground. And that's basically the French battering ram. And so rather than making a very broad front, and you can use that battering ram either far left, center, or far right. You use it anywhere.
Right.
But that's the machine of the French army. It's actually designed to fight that way. So they
Well,
are
it seems
using
like
the French army.
it seems like up the middle is where you ought to put that.
Yeah, and the
You
reason,
just don't put your best
particularly,
unit on the wings.
that everybody goes up the middle with a little bit of defense on the far wings. That's all you do. And so like that's a total French like shaped charge concentrated drive. That's basically how you do it. And the Russian response to that is to bulge out, and you run away from it.
Right.
And instead of the heavy artillery batteries forming more or less a line like this, they end up running to the back along like hex, the great redoubt you hold, and then you go back around R4C, and you see the 6 hex, 7 hex honeycomb hill on the right, mid right.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually behind that with the heavy artillery, and it creates this ring, and so on.
All right.
Cool.
We got to figure out. We were having lots of discussions with Robert, trying to bring him up to give him the ideas of what he needs to be thinking about.
Yeah,
So,
no, we
I'm
totally
sorry.
understand.
No, we don't mind a bit from my perspective. We were having a nice conversation, so all good.
I think they're coming up.
Well, and I think we spent an hour doing the command portion of it.
All right.
We've lost Mitch, though. Where did
It's all
Mitch
right.
go?
I figured we'd just put moves down tonight, anyways.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we've got our moves down.
And we've got ours.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. I had a couple rolls I had to make because
People
I
were
had
out
to
of
route
command,
my
or-
command guys around units that weren't part of that particular division and or corps, which I
Oh.
didn't count on, and so forced me to make a couple rolls. I did get an example of that was Briere. He is fine until I moved up the heavy cab guys on top of next to my first corps cavalry, which is out of command. So now I had to route around it, which is now outside of 6 axes. So that's why
Oh,
they had people.
okay. Because he's trying to trace back to somebody else.
Yeah, the thing that says activated on the Utitsa.
Right.
Uh,
He's trying to get
and
back
since
to
he's a corps-
Latour Malberg or Natuse or somebody.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But since he's the light cavalry
Yeah.
division, he can.
Yeah, he
roll.
can make a check. So, cool. And he's not bad. He's got a roll of 3, so that usually
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, I wrote 3. And then the other 2 guys were part of the 1st Division Cavalry, and I failed to get those guys initiative, so they're still out of command.
Where are those guys at?
That's these guys.
Oh, okay.
These guys are part of, and that guy's part of First Corps
okay.
Cavalry. And the other guy was fine until I moved up the bunch of heavy cab in front of him.
Right, and then they can't trace through. Okay.
Yep.
Well, good to know. So, all right, and then
You guys want to walk us just quickly through your other MUs, just so we've got that.
I know I have the same 3 MUs that I always have.
Right. So for the 2 for the Cavalry Corps, and then the 1 for the First Corps.
Yep.
Okay.
The Ponotowski's division and his 2 divisions that are on right now, the cavalry brigade and the other division are on administrative march to
Right, to Utitsa. Yep. We see
All
that.
right, so Pajol's got one there.
Yep. I saw his roll.
Colbert
Colbert made his roll. Yep.
And Guyo didn't make his roll for a change.
Shocking.
But, Nay's got his move there.
Okay.
Junot's core is active here.
Okay.
And then we're over to Robert. And he's got. oh,
I got the 13th Division, Chastel, Ormano, and La Housse.
Okay.
And were
so-
some of those like have rolls, or those were assigned MUs?
Those are assigned. He
Got it.
failed. Domager failed his roll.
That's the story of his life.
well, he's only worth 1, so he's not going to get it very often.
Rick recommended to label the units, and then we can upload like the one I save with the labels on my units. Can we do that?
Yeah, so during the week, he's going to label his stuff, and then next Monday, we'll just load his save, and then we'll sync to him.
Okay, that works.
Unless you guys plan on doing something to your save during the week. But
Nope. But I mean, that's what you did, Rick, right? That way
Yeah,
you
yeah.
had, and I thought
Well,
that was a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll mark them, and then I can always send you the file too, right?
It doesn't matter. Everybody has their own personal save. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
you have to load in,
he-
and we have to sync to you. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would be the one who would then be hosting, quote unquote, Monday Madness. So when
Yeah.
you come in, you will go to where up there in the upper right-hand corner it says New Room. You're going to create a new room called Monday Madness or Monday Mayhem or whatever you want to call it, and then click Create, and then and then you'll load your saved game, and then when we come into that room, then we'll have
saved
your
game.
saved game with everything labeled on it, with the names of your commanders, or however you're labeling stuff.
Yeah.
so that
once
way.
once you get the new room, under File, you'll see Load Game or Log. Under File, up in the upper left, you'll see Load Game or Log.
Oh,
and
okay.
And you'll just click on Load Game or Log and load your saved game, your V save.
Yep.
Monday Massacre. No,
Monday Night Massacre,
Right.
indeed.
Just call it French Victory.
French Victory. Oh, I like that.
Also,
Yes.
I have one other request. Chappelle was sitting out there. I was the ADC to Grouchy. I was going to move him in the leader phase, and then totally.
Oh, go ahead and move
on
him.
it. Is it okay if I just put him? I'll just put him back here.
Robert, there's one other note on the 4th Corps,
Mm-hmm.
the 14th Division.
Mhm.
It seemed to me possible that the 53rd Regiment might not have made it to the board. Maybe you get the battalions from the 53rd and add them into your 14th Division, unless I'm seeing it wrong.
How
Well,
big
Eric
is-
has a bunch of free time. He can go through the original save and make sure everything was set up correctly.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, Rick. Yeah. I might take a few units off in the process.
Well, I know
What do you
one
mean
of-
Napoleon's not here yet?
Now, this is one of the units from that
53rd.
regiment.
Yeah, the 14th Division does have the 53rd Regiment of the Line. It says deployed within 3 hexes of F14. So it does start,
It looks like the 35th might be on here twice.
Oh, you're right. There's like 35.
Oh, yeah. The 35th is on there. So there's a 35th here and a 35th and a 35th. So.
And a 35th and a 35th.
Just make it all the 35th. They just. Oh,
right?
I'm
That
glad
regiment
you
has
mentioned.
like a lot of the French divisions. That was like a thing they did. They would put opposite numbered regiments all the time. You know, you get like 84 and 48 and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's
So as you're
Okay.
labeling stuff, why don't you just make sure you got the right units?
yeah, so there's 4 battalions that are part of the 35th, and there's 4 battalions that are part of the 53rd. And
I don't know how that happened. I don't think.
Whoever set it
and
up.
now one of the battalions of the 35th is dead. The 2nd battalion of the 35th is in the dead pile.
He just had to remind him of that, did.
In the dead pile?
Yeah, there's one that's over in the dead pile.
Uh,
Bring out
David,
your
what's
dad.
this out here? On the left, is that 10? Is that supposed to be there?
oh, that's just a spare over there.
All right.
All right. So then, what do we do to fix
Looks like there may be one of the. All right, so
There's the 3rd, the 4th.
yeah, one of the second battalion. So there's looks like so. It still looks like there's one battalion missing somewhere, or maybe not.
So
Okay, so here's the other one over here.
yeah, that's the 1st.
So the 1, the 3, and the 4 will say, or not, excuse me, I clicked the wrong one. The 1, the 3, and the 4 say are the 35th.
And then the others swap them out for
swap these for the 53rd.
That might conceivably have been an error in the game setup file.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, so I'm deleting this one.
I'm going to grab the 53rd for you.
Yeah, just grab all 4 and then you can slowly sub them out.
There's another couple of minor items. La Husse's dragoons are currently in column.
Yeah.
Maybe they should.
They had
had
been
kedging, and I forgot to turn them.
I do that all the time. That's pretty natural.
That one's gone. So there's just 3 of those left. Those 3.
So, yeah.
And then these 4. Why is there a 1 marker? Was one of them?
Because one of them was hit.
One
Probably
was-
ricochet or something.
Okay, so that was what, the 4th?
First.
I'll put it on the 3rd here, I guess, since I deleted that one. And then we have
Control X.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay.
Right. This guy needs to pivot as well. He's in column. Unless he's in column. Right. I guess infantry would be in column in 1 hex like that. So maybe he's in column.
Maybe this guy was this guy as well. Okay, so that's fixed. And then you said, and you fixed those already.
Yeah, I flipped them for you.
Okay. now I can save it again.
Yeah.
Did you notice anything else, Brendan?
No, I think that was about it.
Oh, I'm glad you saw that.
All right. Cool. We're making
All right.
progress. And we have to ask, is Mike still awake or did he fall asleep?
I noticed
I-
one item.
I am
wanted to
still
point
awake.
I wanted to point out something. If you notice on the Grand Army order of battle or whatever you would call that chart thing,
Yep.
under the Fourth Corps, it shows both a regiment and all the battalions are on here too. So I don't know if these were supposed to be deployed or not.
No, we noticed that, and if you look over here with the 5th Corps, it's the same thing, right? We've got the regiment and you've got all the battalions. Oh, although I guess they haven't come in yet. They're reinforcements.
Yeah, that would be different. But
Yeah.
what about the 106th Line Regiment?
Historically, the 106th Line Regiment was the very first regiment to engage, and it took the church at Borodino and charged through the village. But that regiment, it was live. It probably should be on the board for the 13th Division.
Yeah, that one's not even on the board.
I don't know if it starts. You may want to look at the setup. Maybe it was lost during Shevardino or something.
Like historically, it was the lead unit in the whole army.
So we're looking for the 4th Corps, 13th. Yeah, no, the 106th is there with the 13th Division.
Okay.
That should be on the map.
Yeah, it should
Yeah.
have started on the map.
You could put it on the map either north of the Voina with the rest of the division if you want, or you could put it back south of the Voina. You pick where you want it.
Well, I mean, historically, they're in Borodino, so I'd say put it in Borodino. Wherever you want.
Oh, I don't know. How should we do that though?
Just put it around F1.
Put it around F1.
That's like a
Isn't
reserve spot.
Yeah.
It says deploy within 10 hexes of F21.
F21? Where is F?
No. It's
That's
it's
way up there.
deploy within 3 hexes of F13. That's where the 13th Division starts.
Am I on the wrong? I might be on the wrong. Oh, I'm on the wrong game. Sorry.
Where the heck is F13?
Right
That's
here.
right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so should I put them there?
Yeah, you could put them there.
Seems rational to me.
Yeah.
Okay, what do
They
you
were
think,
just
Dave?
in
Put
reserve.
them,
chilling.
like put them like here and here and here or something like that. That's.
Eagle eyes, Mitch.
Yeah, but I didn't really want to point it out, but I just thought in all fairness, we should give them everything.
Well, we're pointing out that like half of my army wasn't set up on the board. It's just
Yeah, I was literally just like thinking back over the last week or two about like where did the 106 go? What has Robert done with it? Actually, nothing.
Okay, so awesome. Then that was a good sight. All right.
Well, he was going to
Coming.
parachute them in.
Airborne
Yeah, exactly.
there you go.
101.
So put one back here or something, whatever. Do your checkerboard. Yeah.
Well, that's got to make you feel a little stronger.
Now I'm looking. Wait, I got to look it back here. I can look at the rest of this stuff here. Let's see. There's nothing else, right? That was That's really weird.
I mean, just make sure that something else wasn't doubled, you know what I mean? In case that's already been going on, but I don't think so.
Those could easily be mistakes in the original game file.
I've got to think they were.
Let's
Better
see.
to
We
catch it
started.
now than in a couple
the-
hours.
Eighth. Oh, okay. The 8th Light Regiment is there. That's good. Okay, I think we're okay now.
Now, who's in command of those guys?
They're part of the 13th Division over here.
Are they within command radius of the lead?
No, they're out of command.
Yeah, I just pulled up the vassal save from the 620 turn, and I don't see them out there anywhere. Got the 90
No, it's probably
seconds.
the original game.
Yeah,
mess up.
so probably the original setup is incorrect for those guys.
They were on kitchen patrol.
Yeah, there you go.
Lost Regiment.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. Hopefully everybody had a good Labor Day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Super fun. Super fun. Thanks all.
Yep.
Yeah.
See y'all
It's
later.
Robert?
always a nice gap.
Hey,
I was
yes.
looking forward to this Monday
You
night
got a
stuff,
sec?
so.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
I'm going to sign off. It's been fun, guys.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Good night.
that
Be well.
was great.
Let me
Take care.
do
Bye.
move, hit save.
All right. So
All right. Good night, compadres.
Good evening, Rick. Catch you next
I
week.
guess
Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
I need to save it again, huh?